could sit here and read live commercials and just make tons of money for the company. I could tell you the same thing over and over again.
I can't be tagged as the guy who's a dick.
They must be so jealous of me. I'm so successful, and they're just kind of not. You know what I mean? I feel the jealousy. That's why I don't leave my house. Don't you also sort of harbor some resentment, even though it's not logical, but you resent your baby for being in the way of your career?
Because we don't want the Japs anymore.
Because I want respect.
Some people say our show was the first reality show. I don't think there's one thing I've ever said on the radio that would have been found indecent or obscene. The secret to my show is honesty, reality, that I will say the truth.
Guess who?
And a lot of people ask, what are those drops Bond has in that opening? Like, what is that? What's the context behind it? And even I don't know a lot of it. But one of the things that he goes, I'm just so successful. And I love how little command he has of the language. He can't even follow it up. He goes, this is how he has the vocabulary of a 13-year-old girl. He goes, and they're just kind of not. That's the best he can come up with to follow it. They're kind of not. $4,000 a minute.
Chutzpah.
That could be your new nickname, just Chutzpah. Just Chutzpah. Anyway, welcome everyone. Lotus Notes 10. I'm here with Bon Jovial and no David. No David has had a kind of an ear infection. And the diligent David texted me like 100 times. I can't make it. He's so, as one would expect from
Maze and an emphatic stroke of Byzantine whimsy.
I'm 95. I'm not dead.
Oh,
Bon, how you doing, buddy?
well, I'm good.
Someone's got to sit down and think this through.
Yeah, I'm all right. I've got today is our Super Bowl. It's our grand final today in a few hours, in 5 hours time. So it's a huge day. You know how excited.
Don't tell me
you
what
get?
happened. I have it on DVR. Don't tell me what happened.
Oh, well, it's 5 hours from now, so I am ahead. I'm 15 hours ahead, but I'm not that far. I'm not that far ahead. It hasn't started yet, John.
Is the ice? Here's the ice.
I just can't wait, and it's going to be.
People are going crazy over your ice cubes. You have, I don't know if it's Australia. One of your ice cube trays is impossible to find here. Some of them I have seen, but that last one,
the red one.
That was like an Italian delivering ice in the 50s up a flight of stairs.
They leave it on the curb or something.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
I don't even know how you know that. Like warm soda or room temperature soda with ice in it. It dilutes the ice too much. It's an insult to the ice. I like it when it's on the verge of almost with the little ice shards in the freezer. Then I take it out. Then I put the ice in. It preserves the ice a little longer. Well, that's a great point by that ice aficionado, by the way. It sounds like a great guy. What an articulate man, whoever that was. Welcome, A. Smith.
He's a great guy.
Yes, very great guy. John Chitz's Pants. The Squabble Lane. Hit like and subscribe, pretty please. You all have to answer to Sarah. Where is she? Come on. She'll be on next week when we do the Pee-Wiggy with all the Puff Daddy stuff. That's going to be fun.
Dr. Katz's office.
Any comedy nerds out there, if you remember Dr. Katz, Jonathan Katz, professional therapist, was a squiggly. What kind of animation would you call that, Bon?
Squiggly was perfect.
And it was him, his snarky passive-aggressive receptionist, Laura, who's Sarah Silverman's sister, and she sounds exactly like our Sarah does. And he had a son, Ben, who was mentally ill, right? And he just would call him at the office. And this was on Bon. What was it? 2:00 in the afternoon in New York, anyway, on Comedy Central. Dr. Katz.
Yeah. It was
Dr. Katz's office.
It was just his son was a complete loser. He'd just come in wearing sweatpants with stains on them, and he'd talk to Laura,
Yeah, that's
and
right. He hit on her
try and
every
hook
right.
up over there, and
That's right.
she had none of it.
That's right.
She's
So I
And
have to go with no.
the comedians we heard on that, right? It was like Dave Attell. It was of the era, right? It was like Dave Attell, Ray Romano, Mark
yeah.
Maron. Jesus, who else? Did Fitzsimmons might have been on that?
Oh god, all of those guys. It
Yeah.
was there was some hacky stuff, some of the hacky ones, but it was still great. Ray Romano was really good on it because he's got that weird sort of Muppets like voice, so it came across
Yes.
as
Yes.
Oh my God.
I can't believe Bon Jovi. Oh no,
Whatever.
Robert. There she is. And you don't
Yeah.
know if
Okay.
she's welcome T. Welcome Earth Dog GFX. There's the Deppening again. Good idea, Earth Dog. Thank you, A Smith, for the super sticker. You are a mensch, sir. I hope you hang around. A Smith always does like a Irish exit. He kind of comes in at the beginning. He's like the first guy to post, and then he leaves early, and that's the cool factor and the mysterioso of A
well,
Smith.
that's what I've been concerned. Like I told you about last night about Katie Aldana. I haven't seen her
Yes.
for over a month, and I got on her Instagram last night and sent her and commented saying, "Where the hell you been? We miss you." So we need the Aldana back, the Aldana infiltration.
Very sweet woman, very, very in our midst. But she's consistently inconsistent in terms of being you don't know when she's gonna pop up. There's no telling when she's very tough to figure out as far as that goes. Has
Oh,
light, God
Melvin.
forbid. What did Melvin say?
Melvin's got a comment for you. He's got a question for you up there. You'll get to it.
Arm, do you ever play the Sarah sound drops and have a conversation that way? I mean, I could, like down the road. I wouldn't mind doing that.
I'm gonna burn you.
How are you going to burn me, Toots? Aren't you someone who brags about obeying the law all the time? You won't even wear an FBI windbreaker during a home invasion. I told her last time, I'm obsessed with you sent us an email about the FBI windbreaker. I said,
Yes.
you don't even, if somebody was breaking into your house and you just showed up at the door with an FBI windbreaker, they would hide. It would be better than having an A15. How scared would everybody be if you just all you did is open the door and you had an FBI windbreaker on? That's all you got to do. It would just clear all crime. You want to solve all crime? Just let civilians wear FBI windbreakers. Just everybody wear one. There'd be no crime. All of Sarah's got her FBI windbreaker on right now. I'm telling you, she does.
Wow.
I was like, how's life in the Lucy cigarette business, Sarah? Mr.
We're trying to figure out who
Sheffield.
took your virginity.
Little Deppheads here. That's a full-blown Deppening, and that's how you know. I mean, we love anyone who does the crossover here. I think she asked me, or was it to upload the full Depp interview on Howard from October of 01.
Oh.
He gets off on it.
He does. He definitely does. At least I get off on something, Toots. At least I get off on something. Mr.
Hi, cutie. I love you.
Let me guess. Was she talking to Chris Cornell?
You could have hitchhiked. You would have been safe in Kentucky.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't remember you at Murray State with me when I couldn't get a ride to the airport.
Let's just say he was a distance runner. That's all I got to tell you.
So much so that I would wear out full sets of batteries with my Sony waterproof Walkman at the time and mixed tapes.
Of grunge.
Yes.
Of all grunge.
Yes.
God, I love the idea of you with aviators on or something like that, just running with those little short shorts that are just a little too short,
No, I was wearing like pretty long basketball shorts. I needed the pockets. I needed the big pockets. A friend of mine taught me that he said that if you wear sunglasses that the cutting the sun down makes you feel cooler because psychologically, if the sun is beating on you with no sunglasses on, you feel hotter and defeated from the sun. So the sunglasses actually makes you feel cooler because
Wow.
psychologically you don't. And I agree with that.
It's probably true.
It is.
Because
Fra-
it's putting pressure on your brain because of this in your eyes. It's sending through such
You're
such
squinting.
brightness
Yeah,
to your eyes.
definitely.
Your brain is trying to calm. We're onto something, and I'm making notes now, and we're going to talk about this straight after the show.
Okay. Frank the Tank. That's a great Fran Drescher reference. How great would it be if Gary Sheffield took over and was on the Nanny with Fran Drescher? That would be great. I was thinking that today. Welcome, Autobot. Welcome down here. Scroll, scroll. Melody. Welcome, Melody. I've never seen a
Some
Melody
new
in our
broad.
midst.
Is that a
Yeah, welcome
broad
to
or a bloke?
God. No dude is calling himself. No swinging dick is calling himself Melody. Welcome
Yeah.
to the Lotus Notes family, Melody. Big Mel. Welcome. Hope you come back over and over again. There's a Melody. Okay, I have queued it up, included my Prime. It's 40. What are we doing? Amazon Prime tech
Wow.
support here? What's going on? Sometimes you get wrapped up in these sidebar conversations. Equals 4 hours. We did a 4 hour show the last 3 times, I believe. What are we talking about? We're talking about Melanie's going crazy. I think we're talking about like equal packets and artificial sweetener and oh man, what do we got here? Big Care Bear full of water.
Well,
Uh,
Melody's got quite a mouth on her. She's really
does she? I haven't got down. It was Zion all
no.
the way to the.
She's just she's
Oh,
chatting away. I meant
yes.
we can't keep her quiet. Look at this. She's got look at her go. JFSC. Oh, she's got something to do with that. She's
Crystal Light, I think, is what they're talking about. Although I don't have it corroborated. It seems like it's
oh,
Crystal
she
Light.
said the opening is based. She's using what the kids. That's another word the kids say. Based.
Based. I got to get
I
into
think that
based.
means it's good. I think it's a
I
compliment.
haven't heard based. I haven't heard based. I will try to use it respectfully and ask permission. I try not to. I mean, I want to keep up with the kids, but it just seems you don't want to act like the world's oldest teenager, right? Or the world's oldest guitarist now. Howard thinks he is.
Oh, is that right? Oh
Yeah,
no.
I'd just be glad you're not watching anything current on that hideous show. Welcome, Holden. Sunflower Dragon just ordered a new ice tray. Benjamin, Cindy Clausen.
You can't tell me that they don't have rich people parties where everybody's naked. I mean, come on.
This motherfucker has flower drops already. He has Sunflower Dragon sound drops. And I want to thank Flow. I want to thank the great Sunflower Dragon for an excellent debut. If you feel like you had internet hiccups or whatever, we all do. It is impossible to avoid. The internet's not perfect. You work through it. And boy, did you. I've certainly had my share. And what's the worst part about that is it gets in your head if you have one. So then you start to think the whole show is, oh, they can't hear me. They can't hear me. And then but she, what a great debut. And we all agree. We all agree. And she will be back pretty semi-regularly, I believe. Cindy Clausen, my friends are camping in Iceland right now. Will you ever travel? Yeah, Cindy, I mean, that's the goal, is to move there in an ice castle with what was that broad who did oh god, the Ice Castle soundtrack. What is her name again? Damn it. Oh, not Maxine Nightingale. Oh god.
No, I can't help you at all with that.
Please don't let this feeling end. It's more than I can. There's a
Well,
movie
this
called
sounds
Ice
like
Castles.
sounds like something you'd need David would know.
Chiseled just the perfect cube and shards. Thank you, Cindy Clausen. FBI windbreaker would get you shot in Florida. Wow. Is that true? Man.
In Florida,
Oh,
really?
yeah, it is. God,
They have a high crime in Florida. Is that true?
it's such a weird. It seems like all evil eventually drifts down there. It's like if you watch any of these cop shows, even the old cops, but like all these shows now where they have police body cam footage and they have like a compilation, half the shit is out of Florida. It is just this, you
Wasn't
know
it
how,
Florida in Donnie Brasco? That's where they went, isn't it?
Bon, you remember the guy? Yeah, but that was, yeah, they just went to the casino and you didn't really get to see like you remember
Yeah,
the guy in Mayor of Kingstown who found the bonds, the
yeah,
construction worker
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
every
He dug
Floridian.
them up.
That guy is every
Oh,
Floridian.
can I
That
say
is,
white trash and not get in
yes.
trouble?
Yeah, there
Yes.
you go. You
Trailer.
absolutely may.
So
Yes,
there's
you may.
trailer parks everywhere out there.
Yep. That guy is every Floridian that I'm talking about right
Oh
now.
no.
He's on every one of these shows. I've
Oh,
worn batteries
Tampa.
out
Abe
also.
Rizzo's saying Tampa.
I don't know. I heard Panama City. By the way, Panama City is the city in Florida is where George Young retreated to. So Sunflower, I know a lot of people know Florida. Sunflower knows it very well. Is Panama City by the Panhandle is considered like white trash ground zero? Is that by the Panhandle? And for all our friends in Florida, stay well, stay safe with this hurricane. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, we are. Even though we're sort of dissing, we care. Is that where it was? That whole that we've heard about the hurricane here now. It's made its way to the story. It sounds
Yes.
devastating. Oh, well, what
Thank
do
you,
they say?
Sunflower.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts
Thoughts
and
and
prayers, right.
prayers.
That
Thoughts and
usually right,
prayers.
when you say
That'll
thoughts and
help.
prayers, it does help.
That'll
It always
help them
helps.
out there.
Yes, it helps everything, whether it's a school shooting or a hurricane
Yeah.
or a home invasion. Thoughts and prayers usually solves everything, almost always. I remember during the 9/11, people said thoughts and prayers. I was like,
Oh,
yes,
that
that
feels
should
so much
rebuild.
better.
That should, yeah, the planes will not be hijacked. Thank
The
you very much.
families of who
Families,
lost loved
yeah,
ones, they'll be
it
like,
helps a
oh,
lot.
oh, well, they probably really the next day they're probably like, oh, it's fine. Everything's going to be all right. It's just a
This
little bump
Benjamin.
in the road.
Oh, I'm sorry, Autobot. You, God damn it. Excuse
Autobot.
me. We're talking about the
Auto.
Tragically Hip documentary on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't.
Well, I'm sorry we interrupted your
Yeah,
conversation,
that's a
guys.
too cool for school reference.
I know
Trying
he said that in a too cool voice. He's like,
to-
well, man, come
Tragically.
on. He's driving his truck anyway. He doesn't have time. Keep your eyes on the road, Autobot.
Yes.
Autobot. Yeah.
A Brizzo. Melanie again. Okay. So because Sunflower Dragon, we talk about this off the air on our show, and she made a request, and I promised I would do this. I don't know if anyone heard this. Once upon a time, I made a prank call to Pat O'Brien's radio show. Pat O'Brien of the Get Hookers from 2004. He had those tapes that everybody went crazy with, and literally to this day is just still, I think, reeling from it. I don't think he's really fully recovered. They tried to put him on stuff. Sunflower Dragon says at least he asked for consent during that. There's way worse things that happened today, but this, for whatever reason, maybe it was a slow news couple of months, but that was just everywhere. And here's this just milk and cookie straight announcer just being lewd, lascivious, sexually depraved, and it to a lot of people it was crazy. Yes, Benjamin, Mastic Shirley definitely is the kind of Long Island equivalent to the Panhandle in Florida or those trash towns. And absolutely, that's a great reference. Paris Hilton, Melvin Goldstein, Tampa, Judy Wright. Welcome, Judy. Johnny's had a great week in Spain. What does that mean? Because he's promoting Modi? There's no great week. It's just there is no great week. I don't know what a great week means in Spain. I don't know what that means, Judy Wright. You're gonna have to explain. My great week is he actually has a decent film come out, which doesn't seem to anything in sight that he stars in. And I wouldn't get too excited about Modi. He's not in it. He directed it. And I don't believe for a second you would see that movie if his name wasn't attached to it. That genre, I don't relate to an Italian artist from fucking 1700. I don't care. I don't want to see another period piece for the rest of my life. I am burned out on the genre. It doesn't move me. I don't relate. I don't want to see it. I don't care. I don't. How about you, Bon? Do you have any room in your life for period pieces anymore? set in the 1700s or 1800s, or do you care?
No,
No.
the answer definitely.
And he needs to update he's too out of touch with what works. I cannot tell you. Every time I watch Mayor of Kingstown, I'm like, God, why can't Depp do something like this? Why?
Well, it's
Even
all I
you,
want.
go
It's
ahead. Go. I'm
all I
sorry.
want. It would have
Yeah,
been amazing if he'd done it. I'm sure he can find something coming. He should just appear in the next season
I know.
as
Even
one
if
of
it
the
was
guys
that
in the crew. He could just
one
join
and
the
a half.
crew. They take
He
out
could even.
Ian and replace him with Depp.
Yeah. You could be He could be Ian. He could be Jeremy Renner's Mike McCluskey. He could be. I mean, he's gonna.
Robert,
Yeah.
it's just
He could be Robert. You could reverse the roles there. I totally. It's so good. That show on my second and third watch, good time for an FBI. It is Melody. It is a good time. We should make an FBI windbreaker from this show and then make the letters stand for something like an acronym from this show. I had this guy emailed us, John G, for a show idea. And I don't know when we'll get to this, but I love the idea. He said that you should do a show where you recast private parts with real actors for all the roles. But I said expand it to the extended staff members and cast, like Tom
sounds like a good
Cisano. And
idea.
isn't that a
Oh,
good
that'd be
idea?
great.
So all
That would
the
have been
chat
great.
weighs in on who plays who and everything. You know, like Adrian.
I am an FBI agent. I know, man. Isn't it wild?
Utah, get me 2 meatball sandwiches. I want 2 and a lemonade. Get me 2.
Utah,
By the way,
give me 2.
you have fucking Gary Busey? Holy shit. You know, Depp was up for both those roles and he turned it down. Catherine Bigelow directed that. And I completely disagree. Point Break is so much better than anything he's done, except for maybe maybe in the last 10 years. Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And she did a great job. That film looks amazing. The visual, just the cinematography is
I agree.
fantastic.
She's an excellent Depp has never worked with a female director until this fucking Ma Wen came along, and that was forced on him by Prince MB. 100 movies, 1 female director. Isn't that crazy? In his career, 1. I sound like Leela Sobieski. 1.
She's smoking hot broad. I wish she
You
hadn't quit. She quit the industry. Did you know that?
She officially quit the industry?
Yeah, years ago.
Wow.
She went back to college and stuff, and then she just said, "I don't want to do it anymore."
And Hanson was the straight guy by the book, and Barney Martin was the grizzled veteran who was unorthodox and making him do shit like this. It's exactly the same dynamic in a way.
It is. Watch this.
Yeah.
Watch this, though. This is going to blow your mind. Watch this.
You improvise a lot in movies?
Yeah.
Did you improv? Utah, get me 2. That's a very famous line from Point Break.
Well, what happened
when you want the 2 meatball sandwiches.
There was a lot of dead air in the scene when Keanu was walking to the meatball shop to give me a meatball sandwich. And so I wanted to fill up the air. So I said, hey, Utah, give me 2. Give me 2 meatball sandwiches.
It's one of the most quoted lines from the movie, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Do you watch the Entourage podcast? Do you watch this regularly? I forgot about that.
No, I've never seen it. I just saw him
those
talking.
guys. That's Kevin Connolly and Kevin Dillon, who was in
really?
Platoon with Depp. Yeah.
Oh, of course, I remember that. I didn't even notice that. I was just looking at him. He's how funny is that? So he's an improvisational genius, of course.
I always find it weird when actors, and now Depp did this on Pirates. The Jack Sparrow character, he improvised a lot of that dialogue. So if he's carrying the movie, why doesn't he get writing credit?
Oh, he should have. Yeah, right.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I love the angry scene where he's still treating Keanu like a little kid, and Keanu goes, "Let's get these guys." It's Keanu's still trying to act. It's such a great scene.
Our favorite show, or one of our favorite, our second favorite show, because you had one in Australia, Animal Kingdom.
Oh
right?
God,
The
yeah.
first thing I said to you was Animal Kingdom is as if Point Break meets Sons of Anarchy,
That's
right?
pretty
Because
good.
it's the same dynamic. They're surfing thieves, right? That family is surfing thieves who always get away with it,
Hmm.
and and then it's got elements of Point Break because I mean of Sons of Anarchy because they're kind of like they got a compound. They're sort of like it's those things. If anybody hasn't seen
God,
Animal Kingdom
Frank.
on TNT,
Frank's being a smart ass, and
what do you say?
he made me laugh, which is rare that I see a comment um, trying to diss Australians. It's actually funny. That one's a great one. It's coming up. You're getting to it. That's not it, but that's getting good. Let's just
Look at
stick
A.
to
Smith
the
knows
Aussie
rugby.
footy.
A. Smith knows rugby nomenclature. Look at that. One thing I know is
Yeah, we don't.
hits.
There's only a part of Australia that likes the rugby. Like we don't give a crap down here. That yeah.
In the NBA, the toughest players in the league in the last whatever years, say 20, are all Australians. When they polled all the players in the league, they did like a silent poll. All the I mean, they're obviously cheap shot artists, but they don't feel pain. They play through stuff, and they're just like afraid of nothing. All the Australians are tapped as the toughest guys in the league. I'm serious. Then
That's true.
there's
Well,
not a
they
ton
have
of
to
them.
come from this tiny little country to get to the success. So I
Yep.
guess they're ready to just do anything to get out of Australia.
Here's
Because
some.
I would
You
too,
know,
John. That's
I people swear about you don't like your country. I
Oh, but
can't
it's
say that.
just so small. It's
Yeah.
opportunities. Like if this podcast turned into like when if we were getting 1 million views, I'd be like, I'm moving to US, so you and
Right.
I can buy that warehouse I've told you about, my warehouse
Start
loft
our own
idea, where you go up in
Animal
the
Kingdom.
elevator and you have to pull the door. That's very American. You the older elevators, they go and they go up and then you pull that door to the side and get out. That's what I want. Like in
Yeah.
oh well, it's in so many fucking
Arthur.
movies. Yeah.
So Benjamin weighs in first. He says Johnny Depp is Howard. Oh, you can pull it off. It's funny. They Ichabod Crane or Wigabod Crane that plays in Sleepy Hollow really is supposed to look like Howard. And Tim Burton was on Howard one time and they promoted Sleepy Hollow. And I think Howard said that to him, like he's supposed to look like me and you
Oh, that's
cast Johnny
funny.
Depp instead.
Oh well,
90,
if he
99.
looks beautiful though compared to Howard. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
what a
mean, Warner Bros.
great
would never allow that.
whoever whoever Tim Burton's cinematographer is. I'm sure he's had the same guy on every movie. He makes people look
Oh yeah, he uses
insane.
all the same
He
people.
makes
Yeah,
them.
he uses
He
all. But
makes them just look
did you listen?
incredible.
Did you listen to our last Deppening from Wednesday at all?
No,
We just did a
no.
thing. Tim Burton got just now, which is bizarre, in 24, finally got his star on the Walk of Fame, and Depp didn't go to the ceremony, and Burton inducted him on the Walk of Fame. Depp inducted Jerry fucking Bruckheimer on the Hall of Fame. So all the speculation, and it's up to me, of course, to figure out what the riff is between the two. Something's going on. So I find out from Black Morticia Adams that Depp was in L.A. at his Sweetser compound. David lives there. He says it's 4 miles away from where the Walk of Fame is. At the same time, Burton got his star. Winona Ryder inducted him with the Beetlejuice cast.
Oh
So
my
I'm going
God.
through and I'm like, what is going on here? And something is going on with these two. Tim Burton went to art school with Depp's agent, Tracy Jacobs, who he hates now. And they are at each other's throats.
Wow.
So I think that's part of it. Number two, he got fired from Warner Brothers. Pretty humiliatingly public when he did Fantastic Beasts, and then he wrote the letter back to him and stuff and said, and then they kind of like tried to reel it in and say, oh, well, we might have made a mistake. And then he's like, no, fuck you. You bailed on me. You didn't believe me. I'm not coming back. I hate your guts. So Warner Brothers and him hate each other. Warner Brothers is
God.
Beetlejuice's mother company. Number three, He has never been in the same room as Winona Ryder since they broke up in 93. So how could he possibly go to that with all those things? The
Yeah, there's no
discomfort, right?
chance.
There's no
Yeah.
chance. For some reason, only on our podcast would you be able to figure that out.
I'm loving this because you go into investigative journalist mode. I can hear it in the
I
tone of your
was
voice.
so I
You
was
get very.
ferreting.
Oh God, I love it when you say that.
Oh God, the ferret with Fran Drescher was crazy. I found one of my favorite things to do is to find other things on the way to looking for something because you're going through Mark's friggin' and like, oh, so I found an entire Howard got outed by a hair replacement company in 96 for using them. And the guy called in saying that he was a client. And it was a news story. This is 96. And this is more wig evidence that no one's ever heard. And
This
it
is
was during the
crazy.
news. Yeah, I'll have it some other. It doesn't fit into the show at all. Although it was hard for me not to bring it with me. 96. And again, that's just he's filming Private Parts at that same time. Gary Oldman is Fred, says Benjamin. Do you know that joke by Colin Quinn, Benjamin, during the roast? Robert Downey Jr. is Robin. Precious as Robin, says Benjamin. Colin Quinn said during one of the roasts that Howard, he goes, we got Fred over there. He looks like a retarded Gary Oldman or a maitre d' from a meth clinic. I don't know if that's why he used Sean Penn as Beth. That's good, Ben. That's good, Benjamin. Real good. Look at Melody having her own conversations. You watch Slow Horses? They're talking
She's
streaming
taking
shows.
over. Wow.
Tom Cruise is Stuttering John. That's really good. Gary Loves Meatballs. That's really. I think all those castings will come true. Clint Eastwood is Ben Stern. That's so funny. That's so yeah. Maybe the comedy aspect is better than to seriously cast it. Earnestly. Sarah will play the Patrick Swayze role in the remake of Point Break. I remember Animal Kingdom from when I was a kid. Holden, are you Australian? Because that's a movie, right, Bon, in Australia?
Yeah.
That's
Eddie Murphy
That's
is
somewhere in the recesses of my pop culture brain.
Thank you, David. Welcome, sir. You did make it after all. Thank you, sir. Maybe the comedy way. Melody says a few years after shit goes down. Vivica Fox is Robin. Jackie Chan as Jackie Martling. That's really good, Benjamin. That's
God.
perfect.
It's getting crazy. It's really getting crazy.
There's Crazy Robin.
Oh
on
my
CP
God, there's
time.
so many. What you're
I
going
love
to get
it.
to, there's so many more, John. You're going to get that. They've got all these crazy. Keith Richards as Imus. Nice.
We're gonna go much further. I think
They're
that'll be
taking
fun.
over this show. These
Yeah,
people.
it's
This
gonna be
chat
hard
today is
hijacking it.
adrenaline chat. I guess it's because they all survived the hurricane. And
Crazy.
yes, I am saying they are white trash. That they all live out there.
Yes, Holden, Winona Ryder. We also feel that it was a blatant that Warner Brothers paid for the Star of Fame to promote Beetlejuice because it was a blatant product placement of Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton was there, and it was just all. So I think for sure Robert Downey Jr., Steve Brandano, Jose Villataro. That's great. I mean, come on, Freddie Prinze Jr. as Luis Bordoff, right? Is that not?
Benjamin, man, don't say as Dana Plato. That's depressing. You bring the mood down. That's I've got to ask you about this, John. That where they put their hands in that road, the boulevard. When are they going to run out of boulevard for those hands? How far can they go before you're like, wow, we're down the street from where all the cool stuff is, and then now they're going to have. I don't know. It's going to be a bit weird. They're going Jeremy Renner putting his hands in thing, and then it's like we've got to walk 5 minutes to get back to where Bette Midler's hands are. You know what I mean?
Why did you bring up Bette Midler's a weird Jeremy Renner and
no
Bette
idea.
Midler in the same sentence? I love the randomness of that.
I don't know.
Bette Midler.
I think we mentioned her on the last show or something. Just any name, you know.
I mean, you know those people love some Bette Midler, right? Holden is in PA. Ernest Borgnine is Benji. Brilliant, Jeremy spoke. Brilliant.
This has started a whole fan fiction thing, John.
Arm as Dana Plato.
Yeah, that's the one I said. That's a bit. That's morbid. That's a bit morbid.
Grimace, Gramachi as Benji, says Melody. Janine Garofalo as Stuttering John.
That's brilliant. That might be the best one.
Steve Buscemi as Ray Stern. Janine Garofalo again. I love Janine Garofalo. That's a great. You don't have to. We should do a Garofacast, right? And just have nothing but Janine Garofalo talk. For Janine Garofalo is a pleasant, demure woman, super smart, super sarcastic, and just now that's someone who left show business, Bon. That's someone who just dropped out of show business in a way, right?
Well, oh yeah, I guess she did. Mo as Mo as Marianne from Brooklyn.
Where's that? I see. Ben Benjamin.
Ben
Benjamin. I gotcha.
Did he write Brookline on purpose for the pronunciation?
Why did you do that, Benjamin?
I like that.
Brookline is Massachusetts. Brooklyn is New York City.
No, but I think he's saying it phonetically. Brookline.
Okay.
I love it either way. And or
Sammy Davis Jr. is Ben Stern.
Gosh. This is fan fiction, John. We could do a whole show where these people just write the whole story. Mr. T is Helen Stern. Wow.
Okay. I'm not going to stop you from writing it, but I'm going to get to this. Monica's Elegant Elliot Offens is what?
She gets that enough
right?
already. She's probably in meetings.
She met him, in fact.
Yes.
Do you remember that Grillo thing? I forgot about that shit.
She said he's had dead eyes. He stared at her.
He's a Batman villain. He really is. Bruce Springsteen is Elliot Offen. That's good, Jeremy. That's good. Somebody told me that Springsteen was offered one of the Sopranos roles. It could have been Tony. Ray Liotta was offered Tony and then turned it down. God. And Springsteen was offered, was it the Steven Van Zandt role or something else?
Oh, really?
And turned it down. Yeah.
Oh, they must have been depressed for the rest of their lives.
People will talk if you. What'd you say? People will talk if you leave that up.
Now, Monique comment. I think she means.
Okay. Paul McCartney is Mike Ganji. That's great, Benjamin. Perfect. That might be the best casting yet. Paul McCartney, the role he was born to play, Mike Ganji. Oh, he's right. So, it was autocorrect said Brookline, but you get the drift, guys, right? You get the drift. Sarah wants me to play this. Sorry. Vinny, it's Mark. Dearest viewers, a new month and a new show. If able, please donate to the Arm Fund, which is how your host gets paid. Super Chat, Venmo, Cash App, or memberships. It all counts. We'll all go. Now put your face in the buttermilk and take a sip. Oh, I love the knee. Welcome to a new arm venture. How do you keep the music playing? How do you make it last? How do you keep the song from playing too fast? Little West End town, Dead End Road. East End Road, West End
I haven't seen that before.
Oh, you never saw that one? Yeah, I guess.
Is that what you were doing? You were doing karaoke for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm loving that, dude. You've got to get onto that. Do more of that.
I got to get back to that. You're right.
Yeah, I think that is just.
Life is a bird song.
Otis bird song, Johnny, or just a bird song? My Life is Otis Birdsong. I beg to differ. He and everyone like and subscribe, please. Like and subscribe right now. Smash that like button, as the kids say. I'm mad when I'm mad. I drink when I drink. I don't drink not to be mad. Oh my God, that's a Jump Street quote. My God. Because you don't drink. Oh God, Bon. What did you is that from a Jump Street watch along?
Yeah, that's you doing that, and
Yeah, that's a real line.
we haven't heard a bit of the crazy Amber Heard laugh for a while. So here's that. The maniacal
so much good
laugh.
stuff.
Isn't that amazing?
There's so much good stuff out of that. This is Sarah's favorite. This is Sarah's favorite.
No, thank you. No, thank you. There's sperm on the pillows. No, thank you. No, thank you. There's sperm on the pillows.
Oh my God.
I hope he tipped, and Depp is known to be a great tipper. I hope he tipped that maintenance housekeeper mightily, because you screaming that you could call that sexual harassment in this day and age, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But what she did was horrific. And if there were things that I could do to her that were legal, I would do them.
What was that?
That's Laurie Ann.
Allison? His first wife?
Yeah.
Play that again.
I think it is. Laurie Ann. Yeah.
But what she did was horrific. And if there were things that I could do to her that were legal, I would do them.
Wow, she did that one interview, right? She did that one interview.
Match in the gas tank. Boom, boom.
Oh, what's eating Gilbert Grape? Come on
We
down,
can get
buddy.
lost in drops. I'm gonna pull it back a bit.
Oh man, that's
Look
great.
at this. Everyone in the chat's loving you here, John. They're giving you some is the best.
Thanks,
That's
A.
simple,
Smith.
isn't it?
You're the
That's what
best.
it is. What have I got here? Ben Benjamin Bon. Can you take a second and explain to Autobot how greatness of Black Sabbath? Well, they invented heavy metal. Tony Iommi, guitarist, invented the heavy metal sound, tuning the guitar down to what we call drop D, and that's where the metal sound pretty much came from. And that's it. Insane for the 70s. So it's seminal.
Do you think there's an argument to be made that people take credit for that, and you could go, "Oh, we created it." Like, how do you know where that really started from? With all the bands that have come through, someone else is going, "Oh, we created it."
Yeah. Most people go with it for Sabbath. Like, there were probably bands.
Look at this joke.
Sort of
Martin Luther
trying to
King-
do it, but not really.
Martin Luther King Boulevard as Squabble Lane.
Oh.
Oh man. Mooney. Okay. So here at Sunflower Dragon, we talk about the Pat O'Brien tapes, and I think a lot of people probably never heard this. I don't know how to explain this. During my Zuzazu phase of life, Howard's daughter, Emily Stern, came out with this hideous folk single called Zuzazu, and Howard was so embarrassed by it, he had any mention of it dropped from. So it got out there and people were trying to call his show, and he would drop it. So I caught on to this, and so I started to call the periphery shows on 101, and I would get it in, and they would drop in, like, really in a creepy way. And I thought to myself, let me start to drop this reference on other shows that aren't in the Stern universe, and just stuff that's national and whatever I find. And Dennis Miller's show, I did it to Artie, Francesa in kind of a the Mike and the Mad Dog guy in a medley, which is fairly big. And most shows. So somebody, I don't know how, I think it was on Twitter, in LA, Pat O'Brien had a radio show, I guess midday, and a bunch of LA like Dr. Drew and Jillian Barbary and stuff. And I don't know why I had this idea to call up, and he's going all the stuff with the tapes and stuff. So this is his attempt at a comeback. And I said, let me act like I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'll get on and thank him for inspiring me to get sober, and I will use Emily Stern's music as my sober battle cry.
Oh,
So I
I'm
call in and my
ready.
name is Howard from something, and they put me on at the last second. And I said, so this is Pat O'Brien. I referenced Dr. Phil, his, the tapes a little bit in my own way, but I'm playing it straight. And this is my way of zooing Pat O'Brien.
Nut came flying out. Let's go to some callers. Hey, Howard, you're on with Pat O'Brien and Steve Hartman.
Hey, Howard, how are you?
Hey, guys, I don't want to bring the show down, but I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I just wanted to thank Pat for his courage to air it out in public, because it kind of inspired me to get my S together, if you know what I mean. And I even Phil's words, at least, like, get drunk and go crazy, were ringing in my head a little bit. And my technique, I don't want to know confidentiality and everything, but we did a thing called Zoo, and I'll call her Emily S. This beautiful girl would sing, and she'd go, you always said you knew I was gifted, but you never told me just how much. Zoo. And that works for me. You know, you do what you do to take it. And I got to thank Pat, because he got me on the road. I really got to thank him.
Those are great. Steve will tell you, I do a lot. I help a lot of people along the way, and I pass it forward, and it's not easy. But whatever it takes, you can do it. Thanks, Howard. That's
well,
great.
I know Pat doesn't talk about this. I'm going to mention it because it bears mentioning. You know, a lot of guys can talk the talk. And, I experienced this with Chet Forty back in the days. You know, he was a gambler, and he corresponded.
Chet Forty is the famous, iconic producer of Monday Night Football in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With many
huge booze hound, as everybody is, like Howard Cosell.
Many people are going through gambling addictions. He was very involved with that and helped a lot of people. And Pat has done the same thing time and time again. About it on this show, but Howard, I'm glad you called. Thanks, because Howard. He has helped a lot of people out there and continues to do so in his effort to help himself. And that's really where it starts.
There was a time when the Super Bowl for me was one big party.
Man, oh man, especially in a city like New Orleans, that is for sure. So thanks, Howard, for the call out there. We appreciate that. And once again, a very busy show. And by the way, tomorrow is going to be another.
One might say, who caught that? People were contacting me from I don't know why, like in that California area. Many people heard it. I couldn't believe anyone heard it. But now that you know the context,
tears coming out of my eyes.
Yeah,
you are such a troublemaker.
God, do I miss that Goomba?
Oh.
The best part about that call, I'm not really in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I am not sober.
Not. You're a drinking coach.
Yes, I'm a drinking coach. That's the best part, is it's not real. I can drink whenever I want, wherever I want, how much I want. That's the best part.
I fucking love that. I've forgotten. I can't remember that when you must have played that in the past. You come on with such a. It's
you got to be earnest.
So real.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
and you it's just up there with classic Stern prank calls where
farcical phone call.
Everybody's blown out in the chat. They're all loving you for this.
Oh wow! It does remind you of Al Michaels. It's true. Lest anyone think it's as serious, this is some sort of code from a certain DJ. Al Michaels mentioned Howard last week on Thursday Night Football. And he just said king of all media. I don't know why. I'm trying to remember why he said that. But he just fucking crowbarred Howard into it. Speaking of Howard, I'm driving around listening to Sirius 80s. Do you know who Paul Carrick is?
Nope.
He's
sure
the lead
you
singer
guys
of
do.
Squeeze.
I don't even know this band.
Mike and the Mechanics.
Oh, of course I know Mike and the Mechanics. Yeah.
So he played a song and I've listened. So Alan Hunter from MTV is the DJ. And they let the DJs talk for about 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, and they throw it to barely do you hear. There's no commercials on these channels. And the DJs are getting so bored that they're playing like somewhat obscure hits from the 80s and not the usual Michael Jackson, Madonna stuff. So they're playing kind of stuff that like you might have heard 5 times in the late 80s. Holy shit, I remember that. Or there was a video. Mm-hmm. So he played this obscure song by Paul Carrick. Alan Hunter comes back and he goes, yeah, that's from Paul Carrick. I don't do He's like, I don't do product placement. I don't payola like Howard Stern does. I don't have companies paying me for pushing products like Howard Stern does. But I'm going to tell you, I love this. It was crazy. He just, and
Wow,
it was something you could never record it because I'm in the car and I don't
it
even think
happens
you could
so
rewind it.
fast, and you're done,
Yeah.
and you'll never be able to play it again. Yes, the frustration.
Oh,
You
it
were
was
probably
so
banging
frustrating.
the steering wheel, going, "Oh, come on!"
It was some kind of like energy drink. He said that it's given him a second wind in the second part of the day. And he goes, look, this is not, I'm not promoting, I am not Howard Stern. I'm getting paid under the table for product placement. I don't do that. I would never do that. And he said, I couldn't believe it. I pulled my phone out to try to like audio record it from the air in the car, and I just couldn't do it in time.
Oh, it's too late. I mean, it's gone forever. That sucks. Because you would be playing that every episode of this show if you had that on tape. Yeah.
If it was any other radio show, you could get the show, but it was not. It was a musical segue, or what do they call it when you go to the when you jump to the next
segues.
bumper or
Segues
whatever.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good.
And so there's no way to go into their archives and find it. I don't know how you.
That's what I hate. That would have been just magical. I think you would be playing it every episode of the show. You would have a segment. And I've got a segment for you, John. I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. Since we're playing this wonderful stuff, I went through the archives the other day.
Can I say one last thing just on Alan Hunter before I forget?
I would love you to.
My theory is he is either getting fired. He's like, he got his walking papers by the end of the year because Howard ate up all the money and he knows what's going on behind the scenes, or he had friends get fired because of Howard eating up all the resources and money. And that's his way of snarkily hitting back at him, knowing that he'll never hear it. You know how serious they're making all these huge cuts, right? Every year you hear about them cutting out a sales team or DJs or shows or channels. I guarantee you he took some kind of hit, and that's his way of hitting back, of Howard eating up all the serious money. Guaranteed. Mr. Partner. What do you think about that? What do you read?
I loved hearing that drink in the background. That's why I chuckled, because sometimes you make these statements, big statements, and then you take a big suck on the.
I know, it's
on
such
the straw. It's like you do a.
It's almost
you
a
do
cliche.
a bit of it. No, you do like a bit. Well, what do you call it when you do a touchdown and you do like a dance
An end
in
zone
America?
dance. Yeah, spike.
Yeah,
end zone
you do.
dance celebration.
A home run sort of thing, yeah. It's like you go, and that's what he said, and I know it's true, and then you hear this.
Well, I find that I nervously, I'm very anxiety ridden and neurotic, and I always have a beverage on me, and it's like the scapegoat thing you do to hide. You hide behind, you say something, and if you're uncomfortable, you take a drink. I've been doing it for years.
Didn't David Spade talk about that with Stern or something?
Maybe.
David
I know
Spade
tons of
would
comedians do that. Yeah,
take
definitely.
a sip of his drink if he bombed, and then he's saying Artie was saying it or something, and then David Spade did the motion or something when a joke that Artie did bombed, and they started laughing. I can't remember. Someone in the chat's gonna know.
Artie would go on stage with a Jack and Coke and a stir, with a little, the little stir with the straw where you could actually drink out of the straw, but it's like very, very small. It's the smallest straw that exists. He would do that. He would do that. He would say something. If he didn't like how it went,
You're
he would
right.
suck from the straw if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like it's a little nervous.
Yeah, and they all do it. I know. I've been doing it. I remember just like being in therapy. I would bring this huge coffee with me, and I would just constantly crutch on it if I didn't feel I got the reaction I wanted, or if he just wasn't holding up his end. And it was I cannot. The times I've performed on stage in some capacity, just huge beverages with me, and it's a crutch. It's a fucking it's a pacifier. It absolutely is something you hide behind. And
My
every time
friend-
you're uncomfortable, you take a swig.
My friend said he said I should really be seeing a psychologist, but I'm not going to because I want to smoke. If I could smoke in the psychologist's office, I would go and see a shrink once a week, but I can't smoke, so I'm not going to do it.
Wow, that's interesting.
I was like,
wonder.
wow, man, you can't even wait an hour? And he's like, no, but I'll need to suck on it and tap on it and to get to talk. I won't talk unless I can do that nervously. So I was like, all right. That was his excuse, of course. He's got issues, but and what do you I imagine a psychologist telling that to a psychologist? So I think the psychologist would say, wow, you're really fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, they always say that actual therapists and psychologists are also fucked up in their own right. They just went pro. You know, what was that Hunter S. Thompson saying? Like, when the going get weird, the weird go pro, or something like that. You're
I like that.
if you can monetize being weird, you're not weird.
Or they're
or something like
failing
that.
upward sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Well, it's like Dr. Melfi on Sopranos. She has to go and see that shrink she shouldn't be seeing him because he's
Yeah.
fucking with her head as well.
The biggest criticism of The Sopranos was that Tony was not deployed to take revenge for Dr. Melfi on the rapist in the
Yes.
stairwell. That they
Well,
didn't.
I thought that was... No, I thought it was very in character for her to almost tell him and then not. It was perfect. But to see him do it wouldn't have been that memorable. It would have just been... He would have just capped him.
The whole audience is rooting for it. He might have, if they did it, they wouldn't just have him shoot him. I think they would do it like a slow death. They would make him suffer. They wouldn't just shoot him. They would really make him suffer.
I thought it was fantastic though that she saw him and it was like massive trauma and she knew, what did she say? She said she could unleash him like a hound of dogs or something on this guy, and she didn't. I thought that was great writing.
Her psychologist was Peter Bogdanovich.
Yeah, very famous. Oh, he was great on the show, but he was messing with her as well. Like he wanted to try to get all the info about Soprano and everything.
Same last name as me, only you dropped the Ovich. And
you're just more famous than him.
Yes, easily.
By far.
Thank you, Melody.
Can I play you my archive hit?
Yes.
That I found. So I went.
Yes, and then we'll do Fran Drescher.
Yo, straight up. This is short. Like I was going through my archives. I didn't think I had this, and since we were talking about Jimmy Fallon a couple of shows ago, I remembered that on my second appearance, and can you believe it's 4 years ago that I debuted my debut as a podcaster. It's been 4 years since.
Has it been that? So it was the Shuley app. It was the Shuley.
Yes.
Well, the two things, right? The Artie going on, Joe Buck and Shuley. Those are the two things that I remember in the beginning with you.
Oh, we had so much fun. It was just we both collaborated, and that's when in the second Shuley show I decided to take us to a virtual comedy show, and I pieced together material. And when you were talking about Jimmy Fallon, it reminded me, and I was looking through my archives. I didn't think I have this, but this is your segment where I took you to a comedy show, because everyone who listens knows that I've always been saying you're a comedian, you should be doing stand-up. And this is me putting you and everything you say
I remember
that's brilliant into a comedy show. And here we go.
Please welcome
Hey, we got Beanie Mac in here. Hey, black guy. I remember Jimmy Fallon. I was flipping around one night, and this is like the height of just hateable. And I stopped. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, Paris Hilton's what? Who would have her on? So he literally says this to Paris Hilton. And he goes, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Paris Hilton, I love you so much. Oh my god, what are you up to? What are you? And he's giggling and kissing Paris Hilton's ass, and I'm like, this guy is just, it's crazy. I remember a press conference, Keith Richards, and he goes, Keith, you guys are by far the biggest moneymaker, and how come you don't donate to charity? And Richard just looked at him and goes, oh, come on, man, you gotta stop with that. Monique's putting blue in her hair. Midlife crisis. She's hanging out with Casey in Port Jefferson. Midlife crisis. Monique took Sachi's mountain bike to Giggle Waters to visit Rachel Fine and Richie Wilson. Midlife crisis.
Ooh, you suck.
I remember every moment of those endless summer nights. Ooh, I remember.
Can I get a standing ovation from the live chat for that? Wasn't John absolutely brilliant there?
Better than Joe Rogan's special. That's a taste of what you could do if you submit your roasts of
That's
Howard
right.
Stern, Robin Quivers, Fred Norris, Benji Bronk, and Marcy Turk. What Bond did to that is exactly what will be done to you.
That's right. You'll cop it. That's what you'll cop. And did you hear what I did there at the start and the end? I put in "Beautiful Day" because I knew that's your song. You can hear "Beautiful Day" going in there.
So
It was all those little touches.
Some guy goes, "You suck." Just
but what happened? What the problem was that Monique, when it originally aired, she laughed so hard at that Beanie Mac line. And then that was a huge relief for me. I was like, oh, God, I hope you guys don't just sit there going, okay, thanks for that. But she laughed for about 30 seconds and you couldn't even hear what you were saying, all the Jimmy Fallon stuff. And I was going, it's great she's laughing, but shut the fuck up now.
Yeah. She's got a great laugh and you want the laugh, but there's a way, like, you got to stop at just the right time.
I know, because, that's why you got to love comedians because they can time when they get the big laugh, they can time when they're going to hit the next line. So I was trying to time it and I was like, if I'd known the Beanie Mac was going to get that reaction, I would have left some laughter for like 5 seconds after before you start going into it. But that's your timing though. That's why I want you to do stand-up. And I'm saying now that COVID is long gone, you should be getting out to these gigs. You could do that Jimmy Fallon line. Like everyone in the chat's just gonna up. There's standing ovations already, but we've got to get you on stage.
It's not me. It's not me. It's what you did to it. Forget about,
No, but that Keith Richards line is funny as well. That's comedy act.
But that's a real story. That really happened, though. That wasn't.
But there are a lot of comedians who get up and they tell they tell jokes. You know how they do that? They tell jokes that comedians have told. They say, that reminds me of a Woody Allen joke.
Yeah,
and everybody laughs.
Yes,
so there's no reason you can't get up there. And the Keith Richards thing is just classic. I mean, look at them in the chat. They're not, well, I'm hoping for a few more comments saying is a genius, but we're doing all right. So that's my little thing. So
that
now
was incredible production by you. That was incredible.
So much fun.
That was so good.
I got all that applause from the Jerry Seinfeld show, the DVD that I'm telling you again. So I went through it. It was meticulous, and I wanted to impress you. That was I just knew everyone would go, oh my God, it works. John is a comedian. I was just convincing the audience.
We're all comedians. They're all comedians.
No, we're not.
It's a weird word. I don't even think, it's what makes you laugh. It's arbitrary. And I always say there's a guy like Drew Carey, right? He's not very talented, but he's likable and self-deprecating and gets jobs like Price is Right and hosting Whose Line Is It Anyway? Just not on talent, just on, I like this guy. It's a weird thing. Shuli is the opposite. You hate everything he says. He tries too hard. He wants it too bad. He's entitled. And that's the difference.
He's not even a man to me. Yes. Shuli is it.
I hate men.
He's not a man at all.
Rod Stewart, as Tom Chiusano Melody goes, they're good, they're good, they're good, they're good. That's Howard's product placement when he was too lazy to read the copy. That's a great reference, Melody. Now I'm hungry. Sunflower. Every human is effed up. It's part of the human condition. But the human brain is perfect, only affected by age and drugs that we put in it. Mary Jean says, hello all. A. Smith, I remember Artie peeing in a wastebasket in his satellite show. Yes. You know, what would he do
Ugh.
with this show? Right? We're going 4 hours sometimes without a break, and he had a lot of breaks on his DirecTV show. There were a lot
Yep.
of breaks. Huh. Arm Bogdano. That's a great actor. Yes, Ben Benjamin. That is a great name. Throw an O at the end. Make my Polish last name Italian, and because I am half Italian, and throw an O at the end. That's pretty good. Gene Simmons is Shuley. Arms hits there. They look at Villataro going crazy over it. Arms hit single midlife crisis. That is a good name for a song, Benjamin.
Well, Faith No
Seriously.
More had a great song called Midlife Crisis off their Angel Dust album, which is my favorite Faith No More album. And you're right, John. It's a great name for a song. It brings up so many. Once you're in that 30s, 40s age, someone says midlife crisis, and you're like, what? No.
Well, that's the hook, right? I mean, music. I'm always amazed how songwriters, how creatively bankrupt they are, wheeling out one cliche. That's why I love the grunge period so much. That I think the order of business was, let's avoid all cliches, and we will write about the human condition and psychological observations, and avoid all the pussyfoggery before us of hair bands. And I'm amazed
Absolutely.
these bands can't think of an original hook, even just a word like midlife crisis, and you just write around it what a midlife crisis is. Right? And right now,
Sure.
Fillmore is stealing that. Right now.
Wow.
Ben Benjamin, like Arm says, F Quebec and Shuley's Dreams. I love Quebec. That my favorite hockey player is Peter Stastny. There's Tam Fran. Welcome to Mara Francois. I have officially been given my hoodie pass tonight. Speaking of Beanie Mac and Black Guy. Okay, Fran Drescher.
Yes.
So this is a Bon. You have anything else you want to?
No,
Before I
I'm
get to
ready.
it?
I'm ready for Fran.
So out
Gorgeous
of
woman.
nowhere, this Crazy Days and Nights story pops up. Crazy Days and Nights, for all you don't, anyone who's not gay. What was the Artie line to Joe Buck, Bon? He goes, where'd you find that? Suckmydick.com. When he's talking about DMZ.
Yes. One of the most brutal lines from that experience.
DMZ, Artie.
Oh, God. It's so brutal. And Artie only felt bad after he found out Joe's 12-year-old kid
Go to
was
some
there,
college.
or some 15-year-old kid was in the audience. And then he
I
said,
gotta
well, I
say-
didn't know that his kid was there. And then he felt bad about everything he did.
Joe Buck was set up to fail, like right from the beginning. Like he and again, he's a good sport. He told Artie to do that. He gets a lot of bad press. He's a fantastic football and baseball announcer.
Oh,
Fantastic.
right. Okay. That's good.
Fantastic. If he gets, I don't know why he gets criticized. He has a sense of humor. He drops pop culture references. I don't know what people want. But he gets better. He's A plus football announcer, and you heard
Is it
that
the
from me.
nepotism? People can't deal with that, maybe?
His dad is Joe Buck, who
Yeah.
was the Cardinals play-by-play announcer, and he did some national stuff. But Joe Buck's career nationally is way better than his dad's. Way better. His dad did the NFL, but you never saw those games. It was like the fifth option on CBS. They're out of St. Louis, and he told Artie, do whatever you want. They gave him 2 shows. And they canceled them. Conan O'Brien got 5 years to suck. 2 shows.
Wow.
Yeah. So it could have been bad. I don't know. HBO gives up on things so fast now that it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if he had like a 2-year deal and he was like backwardly happy that it failed. But rework. Give him another. Jesus Christ! Give him 2 episodes. Like you can't. Who could possibly expect him to be perfect in 2 episodes?
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Maybe because of the Artie thing, they just couldn't deal with it. Could that be it?
Well, I said this. Remember on our show, I said that Artie. I feel that HBO has many gay executives, and I think he made a gaggle of homophobic slurs about what the hell was it? It was Jessica Simpson. What did he say? That fag Aikman or something?
Yes.
Remember he said fag like 100 times on there, and I think that killed the show. I think that HBO has many gay executives, and that destroyed it.
See,
And that's
there you
enough.
go.
That's enough in this day and
Yeah,
age.
I would agree. It's because of him. It was so vulgar. That must have been it.
Only Joe Buck knows for sure. But if you got him like without an NDA, which they might have paid him out with an NDA, he might tell you in confidence, yeah, Artie said fag too much and the gay executives killed it. He might tell you that in confidence.
Because it's not the kind of thing you want to have in in the history of a new show, like a show. That guy. And Fuji Vice, Thurston Moore never played on a Faith No More album. You might be thinking of Trey Spruance from Mr. Bungle, who played on King for a Day, King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime album. Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth.
Oh,
he
wow.
did not play very different music.
That's crazy because I've never heard, other than Thurston Howell on Gilligan's Island, I've never seen that first name. That's crazy.
Neither have I. Yeah.
I have never ever seen that first name.
I like it though. I like
Yeah,
that.
it is a good name.
Thurston. It's a nice name. I like those names that you've heard it before rarely, so you just go, oh, okay, interesting. It's better than calling someone Joe Buck. Like,
yeah, I mean, I can't.
His name is
absolutely.
I hate it when they call them the junior. My friend was a junior, and his dad was, funnily enough, named Joe, and his dad, they all named it. And then my friend, he had a kid like 10 years ago, and he named him Joe, so it's like Joe the Fifth now.
Well,
they can't stop once they start. It has to be a family legacy.
Yeah, it's the father is such an egomaniac that he can't part with his own name, that he thinks that he can't give the son an identity of his own. It seems like the parents are naming kids, like the generation, like say my generation, they're naming the kids like Logan. I guess it's after Wolverine. There's a lot of Logans and Hunters and Skylar. They love those so much so now that that's unoriginal. So a name like Thurston would be incredible if you called your kid Thurston.
This would be great. Are you a John Jr.? I think you are, aren't you?
My dad's middle name is Steven. Mine's Anthony.
Okay.
It's got to have, you have to have the same middle name.
Okay.
In order to John Christopher Depp II, his father has the same middle name.
Oh. There we go. Facts.
Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this fucking Benjamin. Homo box office is what HBO stands
Wow.
for.
Sarah is going to get furious in a moment when she says, she's going to say, get that off the screen. Get that off the screen.
Oh God, Brendan says, wise ass Brendan says, yeah, right. Gay executive is actually redundant. It's like saying gay hairstylist. That's pretty funny, Brendan. It's very true. You would be amazed how many gay executives there are. If you know, going in through the top of the food chain. Thurston Howell III, Mary Jean, perfect, right? There's a guy. So there's two Thurston Howells before Thurston Howell III.
Let's not get into this loop.
That's a brilliant drop. That is a brilliant drop.
She just holds it and then
exasperated,
loop.
right?
I love that voice. What do you call that accent, John? Don't you guys have a name for it? Like, you know how they say a southern accent?
It's accent free. It doesn't have any tinge to it. It's reductive sitcom, eye rolling, passive aggressive accent. It's almost like we always talk about how your area is accentless. Well, that's what she's from. I say that Washington, she's from an area that's not particularly known for an accent. Oregon, does it really have an accent? Washington State?
It sounds there's so the way you're right, the way she says words, I can't even put it into words myself. It's so.
Thurston Howell III played James Dean's dad in Rebel Without a Cause. I didn't know that until I watched it on TBS, some ne'er-do-well weekday. Nothing's going on. Has anyone seen Brilliant Minds with Zachary Quinto? It's Spock. I have not, Isabel. I have not. You know he took that role because he thinks he is a brilliant mind in real life. you know that he thinks that he is that guy, right? My father and I have the same exact names. Oh wow, to A Brizzo. This is fun. JR, Joe Buck, and Sour Shoes. Joe Buck as Sour Shoes. Yes, look, everyone. Welcome Maria Adelaide Cruz Fernandez, MAC fucking F. Maria here. Hello, everyone. Happy listen. Welcome, Maria. Okay, so
Welcome.
Fran Drescher. Here is a blind item on Crazy Days and Nights Gossip. Present. What do I do with it?
Well, you love this website. I
Well,
know you love it. Yeah.
During the Dan Schneider stuff, and they've been right about everything. They're usually right. And this guy's a lawyer, right? So you can get sued if you're wrong, right? You would be sued.
So
he has his receipts.
There's a grain of truth in it.
This permanent A-list host has been trying like crazy. That means his PR people and lawyers, Howard's, to scrub the internet of his older controversial interviews. But some, like the discussion of sexual assault, rape, of the actress that is so problematic, it is out on the loose again. Reveal, Howard Stern, Fran Drescher.
Wow.
And so I
comments.
went and ferreted out just where this was. 43 comments. Go down here. I weighed in last night. By the way, you ever try to post on a comment section and it takes 45 minutes to verify yourself? Said they want your social security number. You got to verify your phone number, your parents' maiden name, just to write 2 sentences. All night last
vile.
night.
And then you got to block all their emails that come through.
Yes.
Yeah, they sell your email address. God, who would have thought that could happen back in 1999, John?
Yes. And it takes up your whole, your storage on your email. There's so many people in here that don't know. One of the person goes, this is coming from the guy who created Fartman. And I wrote back here, you see this? Okay. Let's all remember this comedic nugget did create Fartman, and I write back, no, even worse. He actually didn't create Fartman. He stole it from National Lampoon and duped the general public it was his because of the MTV VMA bit in 1992. It is amazing how people think he created Fartman. If you poll people, 95% of the general public and pop culture that know that would think he created Fartman. Would not know that it's actually a National Lampoon.
I can't believe people aren't giving you likes on your comment there. It's 13 hours
because they don't know anything.
Surely,
they're not, they don't know anything. They don't even deserve our fucking comments. But anyway, so I went and looked for this, and lo and behold, I find out it's 1994. She comes on the show. She had done the show a few times. While these are the days she stayed in the green room with her husband and assistant for what was, I feel, 2.5 hours listening to them goof on her being raped because Fred read it in People magazine. And she's listening to this and he doesn't know she's in the green room. She comes out with a book. Yes, Sarah, thank you. Hit the like button, everybody, right now. Like and subscribe if you want to smack arm in the face like I want to. She is so fucking intimidating. It is crazy. So intimidating. Jesus Christ. Now I'm shaking here. She's got a FBI windbreaker on. So 1994, this is how the Howard Stern show starts while Fran Drescher is waiting in the green room with her husband. And I have the video of it. I had to go back and find this and sift through the ferret.
This is why I call you the ferret. That's what we're all talking. I want everyone in the chat to start calling him the ferret more often. When he comes up with this stuff, you got to realize no one else is going to be able to find this. This is why he's the ferret.
He's trying to have this scrubbed, and so this is the start of this show in 94.
Our old friend Fran Drescher stopping by from the Nanny.
Wow.
She's got a real good body. Fred said he read in some People magazine article that she was once raped.
No, I didn't know
Fran Drescher, I think. Are you sure you know that for a fact?
I may have been the one who did it.
Oh, shut up, Fred.
I'm being joking.
You finally came out with a joke and that was it?
Sorry.
You see what I mean? See what I was saying to you about Fred before we did the show? How he is a sociopath, how he is a big asshole, just one big dumb asshole who read an encyclopedia. That was horrible. It wasn't funny. It was ill-timed. And they're in the green room listening to this.
That's something I wouldn't even say, you know? And I'm nobody.
You're not nobody. Not to me, you're not. You're more talented than Fred is.
If I was Howard, I would have turned to him and just gone like, fuck you, without saying the F. I would have gone, don't say that.
He tries to walk it back, but he makes it worse later on. Howard gets
How many years did he wait? How many years?
Fred, let me paint a swastika again on your head.
You deserve it.
You really deserve it. I may have been the one who did it.
I made a bad choice. I'm sorry.
Fred started having sex with women about 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's a rapist.
There you go.
Yeah.
Make it up for it.
Making up for it. Making up for lost time.
Slow start.
Right. That's what he said, he read.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever asked her about that. I don't know exactly. Fran, so...
I think I read that too.
About that rape thing.
Yeah.
When was your first rape?
So how was it when you were raped, and what were you wearing?
So she's in the green room. She got there nice and early for her supposed friend Howard, and they're listening to this. Howard has no idea she's there because back in those days, some people would get there like super early because they were nervous. New York's so chaotic, you just don't know if you're going to make it on time. So they don't even know when she's booked, and she's there with her husband listening to this. And this is the CDAN story I just read. This is it. This is it. This is absolutely it. And this has been lost and scrubbed and stuff. And I have the video, which we played a teaser of it last time, and that follows this. And if you put it together, Howard is a massive gaslighter. Sometimes I've been asked, that was Melody. Jose Villataro says, I have been asked from the New Jersey anti-Jenks technology. Washington has an accent. Abe Rizzo says, Fred could possibly be a serial rapeist. Ferret says, a gay connotation.
He wouldn't put the effort and time into it. He couldn't even be bothered to do that. He's so lazy.
I think what he's saying is if he wasn't on the Stern show.
Oh, yeah, if he had a lot of time on his hands.
Right.
Maybe. Isn't that
he would just be
disturbing?
such an angry, frustrated, sexually frustrated.
Well, yeah, he is an angry guy. That's for sure.
Which
I love that.
Yes. Sarah, more intimidating than a brown recluse spider. Benjamin, what a line.
All you people that got raped, take one step forward.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
I'd like to ask her about it, but,
Why can't you?
I guess I will. She talked about it to people.
Well, maybe Robin can fake a story.
Yeah, why don't you start talking to Robin about the time it happened to her?
Okay, yeah, Robin.
Why don't you start talking?
So now they're accusing Robin of faking a rape. But Robin's stories, right? Robin, who knows what's true
family.
with her? Who knows what's true with her? I'm not even sure I buy that with all the serial liars on this show. She would do anything to get attention.
Story.
Yeah, why don't you start talking to Robin about the time it happened to her?
Okay, yeah, Robin. When Fran comes in later,
she's asleep in her
this is what's going to happen, okay? Just so you play it out.
Okay.
Like when Gary says she's here, I'll say, and Robin, listen, let's talk about when you were raped after Fran leaves.
Okay. All right.
And then you'll say, yeah.
These are the days when Howard he thinks like nobody's listening at this time because it's like 6 a.m., 6:30. So he's not a shot to tell that Fran would be listening to this. They would talk shit about people, right? Before they were there, after they were there, just assuming you couldn't. It's not like it is with Sirius where the replays of the show and everybody's gone. I mean, when that show was gone, it was gone. You couldn't go back and listen to it.
You say, listen,
it's hard.
We're going to talk about it. It's hard, but I'll tell you every detail, like what I was wearing and stuff, and even though it's
I'll
horrible.
tell you exactly how it happened. I'll tell you what time, where I was.
Right. You just do a little, and then I'll go. You know what? I don't want to keep Fran waiting.
Right.
And then she'll come in. Oh, Robin, I was raped too. And then.
That was a terrible.
We got to circulate this shit. We got to circulate this shit. If there's any way,
I know. I wish we need someone with massive Twitter followers. Why didn't Gary come in at this point and just hand Howard a note? She's in the green room now.
Far be it.
So
Might have to give it to one of those right wing nuts. And
yeah.
just because they hate, I mean, as left wing as I am, as progressive as the last guy I want speaking for me is Howard. The Learjet. There's nothing about him that that is exemplary in what we're supposed to represent. There's nothing about him that possesses those qualities. He is in it for the celebrities and only the celebrities. There's nothing about it noble. There's nothing genuine about it. In fact, he probably possesses more of a neocon, me, get off my lawn, my property, me, my tax law. There's nothing about him that leans left other than the absolute avaricious desire to hang out with celebrities.
Yes.
There's
right.
nothing. Judy Wright
he doesn't
says,
vote either, though, does he?
No,
You
I
don't
think she's too scared to go to the. There's no
Yeah,
way
yeah.
he's going to be around civilians where you have to do that.
But
There's
can't
no way.
rich people like that can't you do mail-in? Of course you can do mail-ins and Trump's, because they threw them all out down by rivers and stuff, didn't they? So he
Fran should
could
have-
mail in, but I don't think Howard could even be bothered to vote.
Well, he needs a fake story too. So he needs to fake
Yeah,
a story that he
true.
went to the voting booth. Nobody saw him, right? There's no shot. With all the phone cameras we have now, there's no shots of him walking in ever. So he needs a fake story because he has no new life experiences, and he has to look like he's active. And all that he was shamed into doing it by Sarah Silverman. Remember the Sarah Silverman stuff? You probably have a drop of it. In fact, I'm guessing, and I'm not putting pressure on you. But when she goes, why don't you do anything? I thought you cared. You disappoint me. Remember she shamed him for like a half hour of not. And Howard's like, I don't care about anything but me. And after that, I really believe, and I don't want to give Sarah Silverman too much credit, but it seemed to wake him up because he was losing celebrity support. So I think he had gone, who knows what. I say this all the time. Nothing makes there could be thousands of us that hate his guts, that eviscerate him on shows like this and message boards and revile, and he gets hate tweets. If he gets one text from George Clooney or Downey or Kimmel or Bradley Cooper, that counteracts, that cancels out thousands and thousands of fans who hate him. He doesn't care about any of that. One text, one attaboy from George Clooney will cancel all of that out, and that's all he cares about.
That's right.
Judy Wright says she just told him, then walk off. See, Judy, it's weird, because Fran is promoting her show and her book, and they have shit going on with publicists and deals. By the way, guess who the publisher for her book was? Judith Regan.
Oh no!
Isn't that crazy?
Is this a rerun?
That's it. There you go. That's it. That's it.
That's all I've got of Sarah, unfortunately. But yeah, is this a rerun?
So she has to. Fran has to. Yes, and she talks about how she wanted to walk off, Judy, in her book, and the husband wanted to split. The husband said, "Let's get out of here. This is ridiculous. These people are assholes. Listen to how they're mocking your rape. Let's get out of here." And she had to promote, and so they cut deals with the production company or the publishing company, and they can't. It's like a breach of contract, I think. But yeah, Gary comes in later. Let me finish.
Are you going to be able to handle this assignment?
Oh, please.
If not, Jackie, you haven't had sex in this decade. I don't know if you're going to be able to fake this.
Who is the best actress?
Oh, Fred, and then you, Rob.
She's the best actress?
Come here, Fred. Actor and actress. He's hot. Gay rich. You saw him just acting like an imbecile before when he said he raped Fran Drescher. Perfect. That was pretty good. No one knew he was acting.
I forgot about that performance.
All right, let's
listen to this.
Listen
to this. They couldn't be having more fun
That's
at
right.
the rape of Fran Drescher. Could not be having more fun. Now, this blind item, doesn't it make sense to you that they'd want to scrub this? with this horrible fake evolved image that he's trying to cultivate now through Marcy Turk
God,
and
this
Leslie
is a
Dart.
disaster. If someone like Alex Stein tweeted this out, it would get hundreds of thousands of views. Like,
Even I don't know, does he have a popular Twitter? I remember one time
yeah.
I had to get him audio of someone he knew from not one thank you, not one. You know how much
Oh,
time I
wow. There you
wasted looking
go.
for that? Not one
That's what
thank you.
sucks. I know
Yeah.
all it takes. They
Not
can't.
even a thank
They just keep everything. They've got to keep it all for themselves if they get it. It's like when you called in and gave Stuttering John some information and then he ran in and told Howard and
Yes.
didn't credit you, the arm.
Yes, that was Mark Hamill.
There
was
it
with Mark
is.
Hamill.
Disrespectful, man.
By the way,
Piece of
Alex Stein
crap.
is 6'10", and I could easily out rebound him. Not even I
There
could
it
destroy
is.
him in the low post easily. Yes, tendrils. He's hoping to genuinely hurt Fran Drescher. What an effing creep. I got even more. I think he, you know how hyper competitive, and I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that in a type A burn. No one's allowed to have a career. So he's threatened by something with her at the same time. She had a movie called Beautician and the Beast.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that? It came out the
Yes.
same year Private Parts did, in the same frame.
I think it did quite well. Like,
It did okay. I don't think
yeah.
it made half of what Private Parts did.
No. It
Yeah,
must have made more than
about half.
Private Parts. Oh, okay.
It
Wow.
didn't
I
make
thought
more.
it didn't do well at all, and it's really bad. Shit.
Timothy Dalton is in it. So they tried to
Oh,
recreate the Mr. Sheffield chemistry from the
Yeah,
Nanny.
I can feel it
Yeah.
now in my mind. Isn't that ridiculous? That must be the only movie she starred in after that. She probably didn't get a movie deal again.
You're right. Cindy Packard says, never was a Stern fan. I've learned why now, thanks to you guys. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, CP.
Cindy.
CPAC,
I love
right?
these
That's a great
broads.
compliment. Thank you,
CPAC. Oh, it's even better.
CPAC Shakur. I love it. Off to work now and can enjoy. Look at Tam Fran with a double shift. She's going to work at what time we got here? It is 8:30 Eastern time. Huh? That Tam Fran. What a workaholic. That's the Haitian in her, right? The Haitians have 10 jobs at the same time usually. That's a stereotype.
She's
Have
having a
great weekend,
beverage
Tam
now,
Fran.
though.
Oh, good. She can drink at work. As everybody should.
No, she said she's finished work. She just finished.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So
finished.
she's
I'm
getting
sorry.
wasted.
I'm blind.
She's drinking from the bottle.
Haitians work hard and play hard. You know what
Just
I mean?
like you and
Yes.
me, I guess.
She could have said, watch my show, please, read my book, then told him to F off. Fran's a good broad, Judy, right? She's a great sport. She had the Screen Actors Strike and Writers Guild, right? She's the president. She was on the front lines. And she's kind of fearless, and she's sort of is a great sport, and she doesn't have it in her to just do that. She's
She's
really
got the
got
chutzpah. She's
Yes,
a tough
got the
bitch.
chutzpah, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame her for. I don't blame them for not walking away because he's scary, and if you walk away, he'll talk about her for an hour. If she hadn't,
Yeah,
he would have gone berserk.
especially at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're so on at that time of the morning, he's got such an advantage, like a home court advantage, because most of those people don't have a circadian rhythm for that time. You hear the show, people like, why do you get up this time? I don't want to do this at this time. I don't feel right. So he's got an advantage over everyone that's in there.
And people shouldn't get distracted by this image. This isn't the Artie years. This is before then. So he's in his real bastard. He'll kill her if she doesn't walk on. That's what it'd feel like. You'd just be like, I have to go on. I can't walk out of this place because he'll eviscerate me.
Says, I love you, Bon Jovial, says Tam Fran. We all do. We all do,
Thank
Tam
you.
Fran. Judy Wright says, if Fran has the strength to go on strike to be the president of the Screen Actors Guild and Writers Guild, she sure as shit has the strength to help. She does, and she will. And she comes back, and she calls him out on double crossing her in 97, which I have as well, which is a great clip. So let me finish this one.
Take a break. There's too much fun in here.
She's got Alzheimer's.
I'm a struggling screenwriter right now. I can't be having this much fun.
That's right.
So he's bragging here about, you remember the fake, again, Fartman is not his. So you remember the fake Fartman movie idea? Like they're supposed to be doing it, and John Avildsen's directing it, and he doesn't own, Fartman is not his. And so that was fake. That
I
was
wouldn't have
all
known
bullshit.
that if it wasn't
Yeah.
for you. So National Lampoon owned it, right?
Yes, he doesn't own the rights to Fartman.
See, this is the ferret giving us information, everybody. I would never have known that because it's so stupid, the idea anyway. I would have thought, oh, it's perfectly Howard. Surely he came up with it.
Well, you remember last week with Erica Durant telling her how the story was fake about the nude parties and shit? Right? Does that not blow up their spot incessantly about how everything's fake? If you don't believe that, what can you believe? If they need to make up that stupid story that he fixates on and it's totally fake, I don't believe. We've already called him a serial liar for everything. When you factor shit like that in, now they're making up stories for their guests. It compromises the entire show, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't buy that whatsoever.
Sarah, what a contrarian. Oh my God. Okay, so so Fran and her husband assistant are now still in the green room, and this is just before she comes on, and they circle back to it.
To take a break, then we're going to speak to Fran Drescher.
All right. The nanny.
The nanny. I thought about what I said earlier this morning. Maybe I won't bring it up.
You think not?
No.
She was talking about it in a magazine.
That was a long time ago. I don't know.
We'll see.
It might bring the whole thing down.
We'll test the water.
Fran, we're very happy we backed her when everyone thought the show was a loser. Quite frankly, I thought the show was a loser.
I know you did. You didn't want to have her in when it was first coming on.
I had to walk out of there.
So evidently, Gary comes in here and he goes, Howard had to walk out of there, her husband and her. So he's talking about listening to what we just heard while she was in the green room.
Yeah, that's
Howard's
it. You
kids.
can hear him. He's scared now. He didn't think she was there. Do you agree?
Yes,
And,
totally.
and now he knows she's there. And he's like, I didn't want her to hear me say that kind of stuff.
Howard's kids are fans of the show, her show. So they're watching the fucking Nanny. When he has, I'm trying to remember, it's the 96 interview he did. It's so creepy. It's so, I can't remember which one it is. There's 3 interviews I have here, but he does the same thing. So it comes out that, I think it's the 96 one. Fran Drescher goes on vacation. She's good friends with Dan Aykroyd and Donna Dixon, and they vacation together. And all Howard does is the entire interview is ask her about nude sunbathing at the beach, but wants to know about her husband the whole time and just won't get off it. It's just like the Erica Durant thing with the nude parties. He won't get off it. And it's just like we couldn't out him back then. He's just this, closeted homosexual hiding in plain sight. He would not get off her husband being nude on the beach.
Have her in when it was first coming on.
I had to walk out of there when you just started talking about that, because if you brought it up, I didn't want to be in there. Yeah, right. But her and her husband own the show. Oh, they own the Nanny. They're very smart business people. So they're thrilled.
They own a pasta place and
Oh, yeah, those croutons. Yeah.
She had a crouton business. I guess there was a strike. There was another writers-actor strike like a couple years before this. And so she claims that she got through it because she started a crouton business.
A crouton business.
I've
never heard that before. I love croutons.
I do too. I will not eat salad without croutons.
Fran will be in here in a minute. That's a little tacky, the whole crouton business, quite frankly.
The croutons, I can't even remember exactly what they sell.
I think the croutons, we've said goodbye to them now that the Nanny is successful.
She swears that the croutons kept them alive during the strike a couple of years ago.
Whatever. But I'll tell you one thing. We always had Fran on. So now that her show's a hit, she certainly owes us to come in here.
Howard's, for all you new to the show, especially back then, Howard's thing was he wants to take credit for everyone's career that he would have them on when no one else would, and whoever it is. But now he doesn't have anyone on. Like, you can't get on. Fran Drescher couldn't get on this show with an Oscar right now. He would never have her on in 2024. right? He couldn't backstab these people any more than he does.
Eddie Vedder's never done my show.
Pelican brief.
Got a dynamite body and face on her. She got a voice that would stop a truck, though.
Her body looks just absolutely incredible.
So in the mind of Howard, he does this thing, and this is the velvet rope in his mind that 99.9% of Hollywood is beneath him and doesn't deserve to do his show. So they're constantly this group of what did Bill Maher call them? Nest of vipers sitting there in a Tuesday pitch meeting, and all they do is try to quantify the Hollywood food chain of who's worthy to come on this show and kiss the ring. And Howard's so senile, he has no metronome for pop culture, so he doesn't know what is big and he's out of touch, and he says no to people who he should say yes to, and it destroys his show because he makes the decisions and he greenlights stuff to his own detriment. The biggest problem with the Howard Stern show is Howard Stern himself.
We are so valuable.
Of course, she's wearing a little like patent leather miniskirt. Yeah.
She always with those little suits.
The tiniest waist.
Yeah, I'd have to really do her hard. All right.
It's a little thing, Howard. You always think you were hurting little.
Snap her in half.
Snap her in half.
Wow.
Snap her in half. Judy, right. Absolutely. No one is doing anything about it, and no one ever has. We're doing something about it, Judy. We're doing something about it.
Fighting.
That's why we're doing
As
this.
Trump said, fight.
Yes. Melody goes, by the way, first drop of this word, this is a V word. Howard has this Machiavellian personality. My nickname for one of my good friends in high school, Rob McInerney, was in fact Machiavelli. I swear to you. This guy was a 4.5 grade point average, and he used to do my math homework for me.
Maze and an emphatic stroke of Byzantine whimsy.
How much does Byzantine go with Machiavellian, right? It's just pairing.
It's almost.
I could see a fun little boondoggle performance by the
boondoggle.
Even you just saying boondoggle, I got to separate you in to have just you boondoggling. You lost it.
You're too good with drops. It's scary how good you are with that. Scary.
Oh, what a way to go. Yeah.
He's never gentle. It's always a break them.
But hang in there with us. Fran will be with us. She's very annoying to listen to.
Oh, stop that. I think her voice is interesting.
Yeah. You think Marlee Matlin's voice is interesting?
I do.
I am Dirk, but I can talk very, very much.
I find all unusual voices interesting.
You see how that's so a horrible
I'm no fan
to
of
say.
Trump. I'm no fan of Trump, but he gets killed every day from mocking a disabled reporter with a speech impediment, which he did during his 2016 campaign. That's worse. I mean, he went on and on and on with that.
Howard Stern was a friend of mine.
Is that from the Gutfeld interview you just did?
Oh no, it's old.
We're gonna do a Trump series and apolitical, like nothing to do with politics. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, let's do him. His appearances were great. He even said my name on the air.
Bon jovial.
There it is.
We're gonna do a Trump series at some point.
Yeah, I want it. I know I know people will lose. The comments section will be brutal after it because they're gonna mistake what we're doing, and we're gonna. How many times are we gonna have to say it? It's nothing to do with politics. It's about him being a kick-ass guest.
As a sociopath and a politician, he is one of the top 3 guests in the history of the Stern Show, without a doubt. Without question. He would come on anytime. He would call in. He would, you give him an opinion on anything, he'd at least try to give you something. So like him or not, hate him as a politician, as a guest on this show, he is truly in the top 3. Some people would say 1. He certainly would.
I'm trying to think of anyone who's more entertaining, and if we could get Chauncey to drop in for that, that would be great.
I still have not.
We
have got to. We've got to upload that segment that we did because you were the star of that, because you went back 8-9 years ago and found the exact audio of Chauncey and Trump's Stormy Daniels stuff. That's worse than that. And the Access Hollywood stuff, that's worse. Did you know what they would do with that? That is way worse. He's can't stop dropping the F word, and it is as right. I mean, you all heard the Access Hollywood stuff. That's way worse.
It's
Even though
crazy.
she's the president of Screen Actors Guild, you don't think he'd have her on? Tam Fran, I don't even think he brought that up. Did he talk about the actor strike at all in any? That's one of the hard about this current show. Like, he won't go into depth about anything with any kind of like piss and vinegar or knowledge or passion. Didn't he like dance around and gloss over it? Because he was on the air and it took no stance for the actors and writers. Like, the solidarity would be, and he's supposedly in the Actors Guild. You don't go on. He would protest, right? If you were with them in solidarity. But he continued, and it's not because he's a workaholic. It's because he wants to maintain his Hampton schedule and his vacation schedule.
There, you got it. I was going to just, you took the words out. He may have mentioned it in passing. You must remember, I guess, because you were doing the daily Today Tonight back then.
I did say that.
I can't remember if he talked about it, but it would have been just killing time.
Crazy Robin, brilliant casting. Sarah Jessica Parker as Elegant Elliot Offen. That's A+.
That's true. Yeah.
Crazy Robin. I don't know why people feel they had to go on, because Melody, like it or not, Howard's show. Even they couldn't lie about the Arbitron ratings then. It was enough. Like, he had way more listeners than those late night talk shows did. And, they felt it was a good way to promote a movie, but there was so many movies that bombed. Back in those days, the big guest would usually come on a Friday to promote the movie. And then that actor or comedian would do the rounds of the New York talk shows. They would do Howard in the morning, maybe drop in on Regis and Kathy Lee, then maybe do Letterman at night or whatever. And that's how it was. Now there's no Friday. And most of these talk shows don't even do Friday anymore. They may do tape 2 in the same day. I've been bitching about this for years now, that I don't understand how the networks, how it's lucrative on any level to keep these shows afloat. And lo and behold, they're axing them very soon. It doesn't make sense. Why would you pay Kimmel, Fallon, Seth Meyers, whatever, Colbert, 8 figures to do a show that has less than 1 million viewers, that doesn't move the needle on any way? How do you quantify paying them that? You don't. You can't. And now they're finally axing them all.
Mm-hmm. Sarah's chastising you about talking about politics.
I wasn't talking about
seeing
politics.
those comments. She's wanting us to get off the topic of Trump.
But that will be a show. That Trump show will be a show of just completely apolitical and just nothing but his stern appearances. And we'll go through. There's so many of them. I don't even know. That's like a year, in fact. There's a lot of it. There's an obscure one I can't find from '98 when Howard's trying to buy. He wants Trump to give him an apartment in Trump Towers because, well, I ferreted that he's already been broken up with Allison. He doesn't announce a divorce until a year after that. So there's not a doubt in my mind he'd been estranged from Allison at that point. And he browbeats Trump to try to give him an apartment in Trump. By the way, Fred lived in Trump Towers for a while, if I may. Yeah,
he must have been doing well recently, sort of thing.
But I bet he was hooked up through Buchwald and whomever through their people. Okay, let me finish this. So he's mocking Marlee Matlin's
This
speech.
is horrible.
Yeah,
this is outrageous.
It's not even funny.
I'm not trying to be social justice warrior or anything, but oh god, that's so shitty.
And not even funny on any level. It's just, and this is a 40. How old is he here? He is 42 doing this?
It's
Great. Very good. But Fran is
What are you trying to say with Fran's voice? You wish you were deaf?
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly. Hey, there's a good show. Fran debates Marlee Matlin, whatever her name is.
What? What'd you say? Can't you talk clearer? Yeah, talk clearer. I can't understand you, deaf bastard.
You're making Fran sound like a cat.
I can't hear you, deaf bastard. I can't hear you.
Melody, I will admit when I found something funny, and I'm not playing hindsight 2020, dude. I didn't laugh at that then. It's less funny now, but I never got into that. I do not punch down in my life. And one of Howard's, and it's just like he loves Schadenfreude, punching down is his favorite thing on the face of the earth. Like this. This is what makes him the sociopath shitbag that he is.
You want me to talk to you?
Can't you read my hands? You're not using your hands.
Here, read this. F you. Well, I can't hear you. You sound like you got croutons stuffed in your mouth.
You can tell when a Jackie joke comes up because it's kind of clever and there's a callback to it, and Jackie will laugh at it. So that was clearly a Jackie joke.
Why don't you carry a pad?
You might have the number one joke, but I have to want you when the sound turns off.
Agreed, Judy. Picking on deaf people is about as low as you can go. And the worst part is you can't hide behind comedy because there's nothing funny about it. I just don't, I'm not even, I mean, even then, wouldn't even consider laughing.
I don't give a good.
It's not, I'm not playing righteous and I'm not playing, it's simply not funny.
That's with Robin Burton gonna be called.
What?
You know what I mean? All right, very good.
How dare you?
How dare you?
He loved saying very good back then, Bon. And Michael McKean from Saturday Night Live did a really good Howard impression in the like 93, 94. And his thing was he said very good a lot in his impression, and that really helped kind of.
You, Marlee Matlin. I work with her.
Look, he mispronounced your name deliberately. You got her.
All right, Robin, listen.
She liked your book, by the way, Marlee Matlin. Remember we got that message?
I like you very much.
Yeah, how come when I tried to call him Booker, she wasn't interested?
I would love to hear you. Come on our show. Call Marlee Matlin to book her on the show?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Boy Gary. Boy Gary from the Howard Stern Show.
Oh, totally, Judy. Robin is just as bad. She's also claims to be a rape victim, laughing along with this.
All right, listen, let's take a break. We'll bring Fran in.
Okay.
You think I should ask her about some...
We have to ask everybody everything. We don't shy away from questions. She could not answer if she doesn't want to.
I talked to People Magazine about it.
And I think that you guys know each other well enough now.
Yeah, but maybe she'll get all depressed.
No. We can get off the subject then.
Just don't make light of it.
I won't. I don't think that's funny.
Jeez.
But I don't want to, I don't want to make a...
Oh, yeah? Wait till we'll see what's funny. Let's look. Michael McKean, yes, Autobot. He played a version of that on The Simpsons. You're absolutely right.
Don't laugh while she...
Yeah, don't laugh.
Throw in a crouton plug.
Oh, you know how Jackie works.
All right, we'll take a break, and we'll discuss it. And we'll be with the very beautiful Fran Drescher, who is the Nanny, very successful network television program.
I was behind her all the way.
So I cut out the fluff in the beginning, and I go right to where they talk about the rape. And it's a video that I got from 94. It was actually on the E! Show. I think Howard TV remastered it, I believe. And so, yeah, they did. And I have that here. 94. Here we go. So I did just the talk about that.
Excuse me, how silly of me. I apologize.
And salami yet.
Yeah. Oh, you smell. Anyway, Fran, of course, has an interesting background. We all know it.
I think we might have actually...
But I've lost weight, so...
Talk to
We
her
did.
about this one.
I just remembered. We talked to one. Remember? You see, we were having all the...
You're getting at when I was a victim of a violent crime?
Yeah, Fran was raped.
Yeah.
Which is, like, not funny.
I know.
But,
well, have you noticed no one's laughing?
But I realized I brought it up one time on the air, right?
I mean, it's like, no, I don't think you ever did, but that was before we were televised. You've like sold out, and now you're going for the jugular.
Yeah, right. No. I was saying, like, how do you bring... I was talking to Robin earlier this morning. I said, hey, Fran Drescher's coming in, the nanny. And I said to her, I read in People magazine that she was, the victim of a violent crime.
Listen how fast he speaks and how slow he is today.
Oh yeah, if I didn't know, I'd think you'd sped it up almost.
No, that's it. That's how he used to speak back then.
I wish I had a clip of him talking now that I could play. Just to hear him talk now, he's just so.
You could fit a season of. You could fit a season of Mayor of Kingstown between his words now on the current show. A 10-episode season of Mayor of Kingstown.
Crime.
That's how we like to call ourselves.
What do you mean? Like, people have been raped, don't want to say, hey, we were raped, because that makes you like
No, it's just...
This is Howard faking sensitivity to her thing, and eventually the real guy comes out. He can't even fake it, right? You could see right there. It's like not even... There's not a tone of sympathy.
No, it's what's so sad.
Yep.
And the mass of contradictions. He goes in the aggressor, and then he goes in the contrarian mode. He keeps switching, and we're not going to talk about it. Oh, it's a bad thing, and then he'll make a joke about it. It's hard to understand who this person is. These kind of videos are deathly to him. Yes, psychology, exactly, Melody.
Yes,
The
Melody.
psychology.
Sadists get pleasure out of others' suffering, and that's Schadenfreude.
Oh yeah.
The malicious enjoyment of other
The
people's
narcissist,
misfortune.
and he's all of them. He's Schadenfreude, narcissism. It's just like
Schadenfreude is-
Trump. It's when he has Trump on and they're talking, they're both
Tons of
just having
similarities.
a great time agreeing. It's just two guys agreeing on all this stuff. It's like when he has Billy Corgan on, the same thing. They're just like, because Billy Corgan's a narcissist as well. And these guys, that's why they're great. Like he has Eddie Vedder on, but he can't get Eddie to agree. He had Ben Affleck on, can't get him to agree with the things he's saying. Ben Affleck's answers when he was on was just, as Howard would say something about his father, and then Ben would just say, oh, no. There's just no, you get these guys that are normal and they can't agree with the thing. They can't agree.
No, he really, to give you a really Howard to capsulize him, he is a cross between most of the psychological components of personality of Michael Jackson and Trump. He's somewhere in between those two. So all of Michael Jackson's homoerotic, closeted insecurities and vanities and weird stuff, and not able to stick to a persona, and then he has so much of Trump's narcissism and sociopathic he's somewhere between those two. That's what he is.
Just listen to what he tries to do to Ben Affleck here.
Were you also embarrassed, or not embarrassed, but afraid to accept your fame and success in the beginning because you didn't want your father to be jealous of you?
No.
It is insane. It is incredible how insulated he is from criticism, that his staff at some point just doesn't go to him, Howard, you got to stop with the father hunger shit. You got to stop. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. You can't, you got to write.
It's like Johnny Depp needs you to read the scripts. And this is Howard needs someone like you to come in and go, it's too much. And then Howard has to go, all right, I'll pull back on it. That's all that needs to happen. Howard has to get it into his head. I'll pull back on these kind of things. He will never do it though.
And this is a bit like Trump. The acolyte lemmings cannot tell him anything he doesn't want to hear. And that's why they are interested in only staying on that show, because they have no job they have no opportunities for anything else in show business. They have no future outside of the show. So they need this to go on and on and on. And no one's going to tell him no. And no one's going to tell him he sucks. And no one's going to tell him his interview tropes are completely tired and embarrassing and redundant and is not applicable.
The family problem is out of control. He
Yes.
should have stopped that 10 years ago, John.
10 years
at
ago.
least.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
just a quick one. I love Siamese Dream. That's an amazing album, but Billy Corgan's a narcissist. So
and
continue, John.
Ben Affleck's been around for a very long time, and his staff is, and I'm sure he blames his staff after this for him insisting on going that route. He can't take accountability for anything, and those are his questions. But to have 70 people writing questions for you, Ben Affleck's been around for a very long time. You know how many interviews he's done? You know how many biographies have been on him that you can't sift through that, and you don't know that that father hunger bullshit doesn't apply to him? You can't figure that out with a staff of 70 and all the information out on Affleck? He's got brothers and Matt Damon in the business and shit.
I don't think they get. They give him a bunch of their questions, and then Howard has a list of 10 that he wants to ask. He comes up with those awful 10 ones, and
no
as
matter
the
who
interview
it
goes along, he just disregards the questions that they've given him.
Like, he would ask that question to a guy like Ben Stiller, who's a very regular A-list guest on that show. Ben Stiller loves his father. Like, Jerry Stiller and Ben couldn't be closer, and he would still insist on asking Ben Stiller that awful question.
See, that's bizarre, isn't it?
Yep.
Because if there's a history that the person has talked about in interviews, you'd understand why he'd go there.
Yep.
But he does it with everybody.
Yep.
That's why he loved Eddie Vedder being on, because you know the story about Eddie didn't know that his real father wasn't. He thought his stepdad was his real father, and so Howard was just like gagging to get to it. It's like
Sarah. Yeah, I love Pearl Jam and I love Eddie Vedder, but I'm not. People certainly know more about them than I do. I'm not going to say that I know it, but I know a lot or some. And he has a great song called "Release Me." And it's about, isn't that about that his father left the family?
Oh, you might be right, but I think Alive is the main one.
Okay. But there's this great song
what you
called
thought
Release
was your
Me.
daddy was nothing but while you were sitting home alone at age 13, your real daddy was dying. Sorry you didn't see him. I never understood that when I was a kid. And then probably when I was 20 or 25, I actually heard the story that it was about Eddie's life. I thought, because I always thought Eddie he kind of makes up these situations, like the song "Why Go," off 10. It's like a girl she's been put into a mental institution because they think she's crazy, but she's not really, and that's like a story. But when I heard the Alive one, I was like, I can't believe that's about his actual life, that he didn't know that his dad was his actual stepdad. So fascinating stuff. But all Howard but having Eddie on, Howard would just be like, I can't wait to talk about this song, talk about his dad, just tell me all the pain. And why is that? We've never been able to understand that, because Howard's dad wasn't awful to him.
He's frothing at the mouth to get at that topic with them, thinking that that's some gold mine of, you could see him for a month straight preparing father questions, right? That's all he cares about. And the worst part is, his father is completely fabricated and false.
That's why I can't understand that.
His father couldn't be better to him. He couldn't have had more doting parents. So
why does he do this? That's why.
Because he's trying to look like emo. He's trying to look like he thinks he's cool. He thinks he's like this
James Dean
rocker with he's trying to give him the parents a background. They couldn't love him more. They are quintessential Jewish doting parents from Long Island. They couldn't have done more for him.
We can't stress enough how insane that is for him to obsess over this obsessive compulsive disorder focused on one thing.
He also thinks the audience is so stupid that they can't figure out on their own how good his parents were. You couldn't possibly cobble together audio, video of them doing everything for him, and it's really defamation. I mean, it's the very personification of defamation. You're turning your own parents into abusive monsters when they are the polar opposite of that.
Yeah, and you famously played the clip of his mum calling in. She said she says, "What are you talking about?" But imagine the behind the scenes if his mum was calling him every now and then saying, "This stuff with us that you keep saying about Ben, your father.
What do you get out of
What
this?
are you?
What are you
Who
doing?
the
Yeah.
hell?" Couldn't you imagine if you were doing it? Like I could imagine my mum calling me and saying, "How dare you talk about your father?"
Yeah.
It's
Could you imagine doing that to your own parents? Like lying
that must have
about
happened because his mum's a tough cookie. I'm sure she called him so many times saying, "You're killing me with this," and he can't. He still does it.
because he's a professional victim at the same time too, and a professional martyr, and he needs this persona. He thought if I play a tape of my father calling me a moron in a recording session, that somehow that constitutes abuse my entire childhood. He should have been called a moron. What he did. What I don't know a father who didn't call their kid a moron, half kidding, or that's the worst thing he's ever done to him, and he deserved every bit of it. And so he thinks that the idiots in his audience actually believe that they actually buy that is abuse. Haven't you ever heard people go, "Oh, come on, his dad is calling him a moron, and he had a rough childhood," and that's the only thing they can say because he wants you to say that, and they're so easily led. These lemmings, these acolytes, and so Johnny Troiano weighs in. He always went overboard mocking the deaf people. Yes, with Down syndrome. Yes, Troiano. These guys are all from the same cloth. Judy, Siamese Dreams is one of the greatest albums. Melody says Schadenfreude. Exactly. Oh, thank you, Melody, for the applause, for the emoji applause. I love that word. Schadenfreude would be a good word for a song or an album for a musician, a song about Schadenfreude. And that's what I love about those grunge guys, Bon, is they would have a song like that and psychological lyrics.
Yeah, I have looked up the lyrics to Release by Pearl Jam. So you are correct too. He says, "Oh dear dad, can you see me now? I am myself, like you somehow."
He walked out on his family in San Diego. Sarah told me that. Sarah told me the backstory behind it. She knows everything about Pearl Jam. And
and he says, "I'll wait up in the dark for you to speak to me. I'll open up, release me." So you're right too. Yeah, there's it's a thematic for Eddie. It's his vicious trauma. There's real trauma, unlike Howard.
Narcissism, psychopathy, Machiavellianism,
It's
and
such
sadism.
a great word. Can I get a shout out from everyone in the chat for just words in general? Like, I had to, it's an incredible word. I never knew what it meant for so long. And it's so brilliant.
Hopefully, Val Armour weighs in the comments with a definition of Machiavellian. Howard shows the same sadistic streak in his final interview with Scott Whalen. I got to listen to that again. D.R. Stewart streak in his. He's discussing his childhood assault and keeps pressing him until he looks at him is going to break. It's really shameful. I'm gonna get that one.
We're gonna ferret that out. Yep.
I like Scott Whalen. That's a
All I remember him talking about is with Scott Weiland is about how much money he has to make a month.
Yeah. Now, if Weiland returned the favor and said, "What do you do a month?" How does that go? People need to push back on his money. Would shut him right down because nobody talks less about their money than Howard does, and it's not out of humility. It's out of he thinks you commoners don't deserve to know, and he thinks you're stupid. That he thinks that he's going to fool you. Imagine how much worse his interviews would be if he had never had therapy. He gets all this talking tips from that. And without therapy, imagine how bad his father hunger questions would be. Totally.
I don't think he's had much therapy. That's why the
I
father's
think,
hunger stuff is so bad. He hasn't
couldn't
had
agree
much.
more. I think he's gone to therapy 1/4 of what he says he's done. Absolutely.
Because if you went to a therapist and told them how much you interview people and talk about father hunger, they would say you've got serious issue and we need to address this. You've got to stop ruminating on something that didn't even happen. That's really
Isn't
vicious
therapy the
stuff.
greatest excuse for someone like him?
Yeah.
Like, it gets you out of stuff. It gives you an excuse to bail on things. If you're an asshole, if you behave a certain way, you go, I'm in therapy. I'm working on it. I'm working on myself.
Yeah, you've seen them bring that up before they interview him, a man who's been through therapy and he loves it. It works perfect. It's great. I mean, whoever came up with it, if it was Buckwald, probably came up with it. Say that all the time.
It makes him look deep too. One of his other things is fake depth. So it makes him look deep that he's working on himself, or he's working on. He couldn't be. He was more sociopathic than ever. I agree, Crazy Robin. The talent that drips from Bon Bon is ridiculously scary, and it seems so effortless sometimes too. It's unbelievable how much better he is than Fred at that. It's not even close.
You're too kind.
Crazy Robin.
Thank you.
Pony, Engelbert Humperdinck, Release Me. What? That's not a. Is that a? No, he didn't remake that song, did it? No.
No, that must
I mean, there's probably several titles with that.
Exactly.
Doesn't Wilson
Pearl
Phillips
Jam's
have a
one
song,
is
Release
just
Me?
release. Sorry?
Doesn't Wilson Phillips have a song?
Probably, yeah. Well,
I think they do.
there's probably hundreds. It's very common words.
And make
we all
mistake-
know a little Spanish, a little French.
Oh my God. Judy Wright, yes, a spoiled brat. That's absolutely no doubt. You can almost simplify it that way. An overindulged, spoiled brat. Shtick by the staff. Yeah, the staff has a lot to do with it, but Bond's right. He will always go out on his own with the therapy questions, and if it doesn't go, if it doesn't hit, if it doesn't land, he will blame his staff because they're there to be blamed. Because nothing is his fault. No accountability.
Well, when Monique interviewed Brent Hatley, he said, yeah, sometimes say Metallica are coming in, he'd be like, I'm a huge Metallica fan, so I'll go to that meeting and pitch a whole bunch of questions. And I've watched all the times Metallica have been on. And Howard ain't asking Brent's questions, I can tell you that. Because there's a fan, if you're a fan, I know, if you asked a question that I thought was a fan question, I'd go, that Brent probably asked that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't go into shit. He doesn't, it's just terrible.
Who do you think Melody is, Bond? Think of someone we know with a different name. And I don't doubt that Melody's not a real name, but she's very engaged here with tons of insider talking points. And it can't be, we've never seen Melody in our chat, right? So
that's right.
It's got to be somebody. I can't. I'm trying to figure it out.
It could be. Tell us, Melody. Can't
That's
spill
a
the
compliment.
beans.
That's a backward
Yeah,
compliment.
we're loving it. Keep it. Don't ever change. I said this last show. Don't ever change.
They are massively trolling the audience and have been forever. It's just more obvious now because the writers are not as slick as they used to be. Well, my point would be with that is the show is not for anybody but Howard. The last thing this guy is interested in is entertaining you, providing a product. He is only interested in overindulging himself and the money with it and jerking off celebrities. So people go, and I was the one that raised that question, who is this show for? And what it's for a closeted homosexual who is overindulged with a goldfish brain that acts on that and nothing more. It is for
and
him.
Remember that, everyone listening, John coined that. Who is this show for?
In the shower. I'll never forget it. In the shower.
Yes.
It's not a comedy show.
I love it when you add these things, like you were talking about hats, the other week, and your hat collection. I just love it how you could. I love it that you're in the shower and you can remember that.
I cultivated a hat collection for 20 years, and I lost it during COVID. Brendan says there's a song about Schadenfreude in the play and soundtrack of Avenue Q. Is that Avenue Q, Brendan, in Brooklyn, where I forget what the name of the area is? not Sheep's Head Bay, but shit, Inwood or something like that, like a Jewish area, Avenue Q. That's a Brooklyn road, right? I'm almost positive.
Well,
There's
G Canada.
G Canada knows Melody.
Yeah, G Canada. We finally agree on something because Smashing Pumpkins were a good band for 2 or 3 albums. Everything they've done, I just listened to their recent album, and oh man, that was bad. It just came out a couple of months ago, John. It's terrible shit.
This is gonna sound lame. My favorite song by them is from the Scream soundtrack called "I."
Yes.
I don't know why.
It was actually
production of it.
from the Mel Gibson movie, I think.
Oh, I thought it was Scream.
You know, the one in where the kidnapped his kid. I think it's that.
Ransom?
Yeah, I think it's in that, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I love that song too. I thought it was
such
great.
a good arrangement, and it's hypnotically good. Like the lyrics are great, and I know it's for a soundtrack, but god damn it, is that a good song?
Yeah, it's like, why did you put that on an album, Billy?
Yes,
like
I know.
They really peaked the last one that they did. He decided to announce to everybody that rock music is dead, and then he did the album Adore in 1998, and then that didn't sell well. So then a couple years later, he went back with the album called Machina, and he went straight back to his heavy rock sound again because he's just desperate for attention. And then ever since, he's been putting out this garbage. Every few years he comes back with a new gimmick. It's like, oh, look, we've got the drummer back. Oh, we've got the guitarist back.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, it's a double album. Ooh, wow, and it all sucks. I haven't enjoyed any of it, but not many big fans have either. I've seen all the comments. He won't go away.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
No one knows how to get off the stage. No one knows how to get off the stage. Like Howard's exhausted that. If Howard stepped off in like 2010, he could have salvaged like a legendary, and we wouldn't be here right now, and would have been. But now he is walking a very fine line of having more bad years than good, and he is destroying his legacy every day a little more.
And he's deserving this right now. He's being awful to Fran.
Melody, right? So Melody actually weighs in with the definition. Machiavellianism is the name of a personality trait construct characterized by interpersonal manipulation, indifference to morality, and lack of empathy, and is a calculated focus on self-interest.
Thank Melody. Wow. What do you do for a living, Melody?
I wonder if she would say that to someone in an actual therapy session. Have you ever called anyone Machiavellian in your own therapy practice? Detroit Tigers going to the postseason, says Chris Delopoulos. I was looking at a Tigers hat on eBay, Chris, the other day with the World Series insignia on the side with the patch. I do not want to sound like an asshole. John. I is from the Lost Highway. Okay, I thought it was. Am I wrong? Was it also? They will use multiple songs from the Scream like soundtracks and shit. I've seen one song be on multiple soundtracks and stuff.
Oh my God! Look at this. We're both wrong, John. It is from the Lost Highway. So, thank you for correcting. And God damn it, I should have known that because I love everything David Lynch has ever done. And
Midwood, Mary Jean. Thank you, Mary. Yeah,
so
Avenue
Q. He did do one for that movie, that Ransom movie, I think. Let me find. But continue, John. Continue.
Wonder I can't see. And at the end, it goes, "It's not enough." And it is such a good arrangement. I think it's one of the best pop alternative songs of that era, but it doesn't get brought up a lot. I used to hear it on K-Rock once in a while. I don't believe there's an actual Avenue Q. The play itself was a big hit, kind of a Sesame Street parody with adults and somewhat raunchy puppets. Q's like Brent, IQ's like what would be ignored because they actually legit. Billy Corgan bought the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, which is really the origin, derivation of my nickname, Arm, is from NWA. And that and the rap group. I was so enamored with that acronym when the rap group came out because they obviously lifted it from wrestling. and N words with attitude.
Because I liked their albums back when they came. I thought they were brilliant. I was like, I can't believe these guys are allowed to sing these words. And Billy Corgan did do the soundtrack to Ransom, the Mel Gibson movie. He's got some
aesthetics with attitudes. And then I thought to myself, I need my own acronym. So I always loved Arm and Gilliam, and I thought, let me take the arm from that, and it'll be all rebounds mine. And that's the origin. It was from that. It was from NWA. Yeah, they used to say we wrestle. It was a shot at, there's a Vince McMahon documentary out now. I think that's pretty big. And the NWA said the WWF has become this soap opera, ridiculous thing where they're changing names and they're not interested in actual wrestling, everything but. So we will have a mantra that says NWA, we wrestle. And it was better. I certainly think, no, Brendan, that Parm was taken from me. The derivation, he put a P in front of his first name. You little fucking weasel.
They'll get at you if you let them, John. They'll get under your skin.
No.
They'll get under, this is,
Avenue
if
Q
Sarah was listening, she'd step in now to defend you.
Here we go, Fran.
I don't know. You get categorized that way when you work with the police and when you work with all of those things. Somehow you no.
Because everyone's like embarrassed to say it's rape, so they just go, "Oh, you were the victim of a violent crime."
No, I don't think so. No, I just think that's a technical term that when you unfortunately have to go through the process of the legal system.
Oh, I see what you're
That's
saying.
how you get classified. So you tend to, pick up on it.
So I said to Robin,
it's not because it's a stigma. Bad things happen to good people. I'm sure there's no one in this room that's walked through life. You don't go through.
I had a sarcastic moment with my mother. I came home from Brooklyn. It was one of those like summer long weekends, and I look on the coffee table, and we would go to Long Island for like 3 or 4 days because it was 15 degrees cooler than the city was, and then there's a breeze, and it was like you were let out of jail. And there's nothing worse than the summer in New York City. The humidity, there's no breeze, the subways. I saw a dude. I threw up. I'm sorry. I threw up in the subway from just being hungover. Yeah, being hungover and the humidity and nasty smell coming from. I actually threw up on the tracks. It was so more. I got to get out of here. And so we would go home for 3 or 4 days. I go home. I'm in the living room. I look on the coffee table, and it's a book that says when bad things happen to good people. And so I look at my mother and I go, oh, let me guess. You would be this good person that seemingly all these bad things are happening to? Is that why? And I don't consider her a good person. But in her mind, she thinks she's, you know what I mean? That's the victim mentality, that she bought that book, that I'm this good person. And I'm drilling her. I'm like, what bad things are happening? What do you mean? What bad things? You're the good person, and she's like, drop it. I don't want to. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. Drop it. I didn't want to talk about it. And then she's walked out of the room and didn't talk to me for the rest of the weekend. But I'm just like, it is almost like a backward compliment to yourself, right? Is there any more form of like braggadocio than you buy a book that says when bad things happen to good people, and the message you're giving out is I'm the good person that all these bad things are happening to. So I called her on it. I'm like, what? Her life is fine. It's easy. She doesn't, you know what I mean? Like what? You don't go anywhere. You haven't left the county in 40 years. Like, what bad things are happening to you? And what are you doing about it? Yeah, it annoyed me.
It's an intelligent way to sell a book.
It just hit me. I'm like, let me push her on this. I just couldn't take it.
But if I saw the book, if I'd looked at the title, it would make me think about all the things that I think have happened to me that are bad. It's psychologically very intelligent. I wonder how many copies it's sold, because it's like The Secret. Remember that book? That book's all about if you will things to happen, they'll just happen for you.
Yeah.
Psychologically, you go, wow.
That's magical thinking, Don. That's Howard's. That's the cult of getting things done. Did I tell you that we looked up Jeff Schick? So we looked up Jeff Schick and Lotus Notes, and it's completely tied into getting things done. I couldn't believe it. So this podcast where Lotus Notes is part of the Getting Things Done cult. I couldn't believe. This is 2 weeks ago, and I sent it to David, and we're looking at it, and it's another show. But that's part of it. Magical thinking.
I told you about this. There's a video of David Allen talking about how he uses Lotus Notes.
Oh my God!
I got that video.
Oh,
so isn't that? I was going to bake that into the show intro, but then I thought, this is going to get too much. But David Allen loves Lotus Notes too. So it's like, that's weird.
If you walked into anyone's living room, a bookshelf, and you saw that book, wouldn't you, if you could put two and two together, wouldn't you say to yourself, okay, this person thinks they're the good guy and everything around them is bad, and they're the victim to something. So this is like a way of jerking yourself off while you look like a victim if you buy that book. Like, we all think we're the good guy in the movie. She's not the good guy. I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy.
Exactly. It's great manipulation.
I know. But I thought I would call her on it, and it was a great conversation. I did that reductive thing you do. Go ahead.
It's like if someone tells you something terrible that happened to them, people, you, me, everyone, you tell them something bad that's happened to you, and in some ways it could be that you're trying to top them, but then in some ways you're trying to you're showing them that you have empathy, but again you are reinforcing, well, I've had something bad too.
Yes.
I just want you to know that.
Yes. Totally. Hey, Brendan, that is a Michael Yander. That is a Michael Yander is the master of what I just did. He actually can do that better than I can. The kind of assess the situation and like break it down and go. That is a trademark Michael Yander move. I hope you tell him that, because I was channeling him in some way. Benjamin was a great show. We talked about it. Okay, back to Fran.
You know, you don't go through life unscathed.
Tell her, Jackie.
Bad things happen to bad people.
Yeah.
No, you do go on life unscathed. Howard's gone through life unscathed. You do go. Some people do.
That's right.
Jeff Schick has ties to the North Shore Animal League, says D.R. Stewart.
Talk about being
Bad
scathed.
things should happen to bad people, but unfortunately,
Let me ask you
it doesn't
this.
always work that
Is
way.
the perpetrator in this room? Take a look at these two gentlemen.
He's been incarcerated, I'm happy to say.
Oh, that's
and still incarcerated.
Fran's putting on that, good sport fake smile, and she's like, good God.
Hopefully.
Yes,
They let a lot of
that's
these
not-
guys out right away.
No, 114 years.
Oh, no kidding. He must have gotten a lot of people.
Yes,
What was the MO on
there
this
were
guy?
2 busloads of witnesses. They called us witnesses.
White guys or black
called
guys?
them and said, well, it's...
What are you upset about? White or black? Black guys did it?
No, they were black, but...
Immediately he goes to black eyes. They read the story in People magazine, but Howard would say that anyway. The racist part of Howard would throw that out anyway. I would wager to say there is as many or more white rapeists than black. It's just that the black ones tend to get accentuated more. Brendan says, what about the book? It's much sadder when mildly unpleasant things happen to very average people. That is a tragedy.
The group?
Brothers.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Well, it runs in the family.
So you mean they had gone around and done so many heinous crimes that there was a busload of victims brought
2
in?
busloads.
Wow.
2 busloads.
2 black dudes, huh?
Yeah, two guys.
Well, you
One
don't
was on
talk about the racial
parole.
thing?
One was on parole.
Had they done mostly white women?
Because the
Was it
color
mostly
of
white
their
women?
skin didn't make better or worse.
Howard so badly wants it to be mostly white women. So this whole, racist mandingo fantasy he has coming out of the closet. He so badly wants to visualize that.
What happened to me? I mean, it has nothing to do with the color of the...
No, I'm not trying to make a racial issue out of this.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
But I think it's just that, even to ask what color, you didn't ask what color their hair was or their eyes were.
Of course not. Who cares?
He just assumes all crime is committed by black people. That's his
I
theory.
do not. Were they very black?
You do too.
Were they?
I think Robin's dead serious there. Robin just goes, Howard thinks all crime has been committed by black people. Oh shit, Bond Bond went out. I didn't even know that. Let me do the math. Oh, okay, he left 2 minutes ago, so I'm flying solo here. Robin was dead serious. She said he genuinely thinks all crime is done by black. He goes, I do not. Because you do too. You do too. That wasn't joking. She was serious.
Full African, or were there a little white in them? were they like really like big black guys?
This is making it worse because he's now turning it into just horrible racist tropes and jokes on top of mocking her rape.
No, they weren't that
Big? No, they weren't that big?
No, well, it's just they had guns, so they were
really?
big enough.
Oh my God, you must have been freaking.
Were you being robbed as well? Were you in a house?
Yeah, they loaded. Yeah, one brother loaded up the car while the other brother, who was actually the rapist, raped both myself and my girlfriend.
Oh. Did they get the same amount of time?
No, the other brother wasn't a rapist.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, did they get the same amount of time in jail, not the same amount of time with you?
I got your question. She thought so.
Any victims out there, or friends of friends, or adjacent victims, someone, I am not this, by all means, blast off. This is the most insensitive, unfunny attempt at trying to make, I don't know what he accomplishes other than some salacious thing where he's trying to get headlines for her talking about this, because he goes right to it. And there's nothing about this that's therapeutic. It's all for him. There's nothing. He's not sympathetic. He's not empathetic. He's not nothing. He just is on this for all the wrong reasons. Make no mistake. And he can't even hide it.
Something else?
Yeah, Fran thought, did each brother get an equal amount of time, or did one have to be quick and the other one?
I underestimated you. I thought you were being tackier than you.
No, I was
being sincere and concerned and interested.
Oh, I am. It's a horrible story.
They did not get the same amount of time. No, obviously.
All right, now what about the other question? Did each brother get the same amount of time?
Oh, yeah. Rapist.
I didn't think of that question. All right,
so
I
I
just
answered
want to ask
both questions.
No, what I'm saying is that
if this happened to Beth, how do you think that would go? If somebody completely mocked it and made light of it and tried, how do you think that would go? And the sociopath can't help but blurt out of him, and she's trying to go along with this and be a good sport, but it is difficult. There's nothing edgy about this. He's not being, I'm being this. There's provocative, and then there's this. Then there's the sociopath. Black people rape 25,000 women a year, while white men rape almost 0 black women. Isn't that crazy, Horatius 763? According to the 2015 FBI stats, not hateful, just true. And black women are much stronger and are willing to, would be stronger, intimidating, and aren't playing that. And don't play the victim like white women do.
In other words, how did the cops catch these guys?
Well, I must say that I have a photographic memory. And I was watching TV just that week, and I was watching, they were saying that, it was on one of these talk shows, and they were saying that if you're in a situation.
And not only that, Horatius, but Howard doesn't know that statistic. He's certainly not quoting facts of any kind. He just wants to say that.
It's really important that you get the details, the features. Very important.
But these guys let you see them?
Get so scared they don't.
Right. Imagine living vicariously through this story, which he is. Absolutely. Total lack of emotion and empathy, says Judy, right? It's impossible to underestimate this guy. That's what Fran said when he's torturing her. And it won't get off it. There's a lot more to this, guys. He's not going to segue. Once he gets fixated on this stuff, and he could live out his gay fantasies through whatever more and humiliate somebody else, it's all the right things for him to get off on this story.
Don't consciously try and be aware of that.
But they let you see them?
Well, actually, yeah. I mean,
they didn't have their faces covered.
And then they were blindfolded with my husband's ties.
Oh, you were married at the time?
Yeah. I've been married for 1,000,000 years.
So you must be horny.
But
right?
You're talking about a rape.
I've done.
No, I mean she must be horny for.
You just don't bring it up.
So right in the middle of her, just trying to relive this, he says, "You must be horny." He can't just There's nothing, and whether that was written for him or not, there's just no optics or radar. He is there to humiliate her. And
you mean I can't bring up Horny? She's a woman.
We can change this subject.
No, I like this subject.
Let me just ask you something.
Go
Let
ahead.
me just ask you something. Does the name Marty Cottrell
Yeah, I know
ring
Marty.
a bell?
Now, how do you know Marty?
Okay, my executive...
He didn't rape you, did he?
No.
No, all right, go ahead. Because Marty, I went to high school with.
High school, okay.
He's a very nice guy.
Oh, all right, okay. Because
how do you know him?
He knows Rob Stern and my executive...
Melody says, see the parallels between this segment and the bits they air of President. Instead of making guests squirm, now it's the audience. Yes, Melody, but also, let's see, what if this line of questioning was done to Beth by Andy Cohen? And we say Bethstrionic personality disorder, how Beth's thing is, since she's been brought up on the show, she comes in with stories about how she's the victim, comes up with these. I learned this word during the Depp trial. It's called a fabulist, and it means someone who is certainly plays the victim, and they constantly are the center of the story, where all these crazy things are happening to only them, and they're the star of the story, and they are the victim. And this is what Beth does on this show: is someone's constantly sexually harassing her on the street or in a restaurant, or black kids are blowing a whistle in her face on Columbus Avenue. And what do you think Howard would do how crazy would he go if she got mocked like this by anybody, even 1/10? And this actually happened with Imus. Beth wasn't there, but Imus did something like this, and Howard went crazy. Went to Karmazin, went to all the executives behind the scenes, and then actually called Imus's show. He was so livid. This is when it happens to him, it ain't so fun. He couldn't, he's the ultimate. You can dish it out, but he can't take it. He's the very personification.
Producer, and he's always saying he was like your best buddy.
No, not my best, but almost my best.
So,
and for a while, my best.
Yes, Crystallopoulos says Howard's always just devoid of comic talent. So he scrambles and he stumbles during a bit like this, and his racist Jewish Zionist father, this is the only place he knew how to go. Yeah, I agree with that. That is exactly the move. I agree with you, Melody. He gets off on humiliating women, and says Judy Wright, men and women, anyone. Crystallopoulos says, look at the wig on that scumbag. Forget about Beth. Concentrate on Howard. Absolutely. This harkens back to last week's show when he talked about how he treated the woman from yeah, right. Erica Drent is very tied into it. That's kind of why I segued to this, Benjamin.
You know why I like Marty Cottrell? I'm going to tell you why I like Marty Cottrell. When I went to high school, when my parents finally moved out of a black community and we moved into a white community, Marty and I went to high school. Marty had just moved to the high school from Canarsie, Brooklyn, which is no picnic.
Another one of the nerds you hung around.
Well, okay, if you want to put it that way. But anyway.
That's where Mike Yander's from, Canarsie, Brooklyn. And like Howard knows anything about Canarsie. Like he's ever been there, like he knows anything about the demographics. Demeaning, humiliating women he likes to do, and he thinks he's deep recesses of a dark heart. He fantasizes worse with women. Judy writes, Melody says he pretends he cares, which anyone can see through. He learns how people care, and then he would mirror that. He's doing an impression of a human being. Sarah says, the documentary is fine, but nothing new revealed. I was talking about Vince McMahon. Nice segue, Sarah. Great way to stay on topic. Vince wouldn't even talk about what his mom did to him. I didn't know Vince McMahon had a mom.
Marty came over to my table. He saw me sitting alone at the lunch table. No one would talk to me. You have to understand how repulsive I am without a radio show.
I don't believe this story. I think this is fake. I'm not sure. The timeline of Marty probably is like 3 years before this.
I have such a lack of charisma without the radio show. I was sitting there by myself. The way my mother dressed me was pathetic in 10th grade. And with the long hair,
the clothes,
a mess, the nasal hair. I'm sitting there by myself.
So Bill Simmons is the producer of the documentary. Huh. He had a show on HBO that might have been more short-lived than Joe Buck's. It was exactly the same kind of decapitation. I don't know if it went more than like 2 or 3 episodes.
And this guy walks over. He says, hey, you look like you're alone. I'm alone. I'm from Canarsie. I just moved here. Like to be your pal. My name is Marty Cottrell. And can I talk to you?
Bless his heart.
Then he raped me.
Oh, Oh God! So we're telling more rape jokes about his friend Marty. That is a blatant disrespect. Now he can't help himself. Jackie wrote that for him. He got the. Don't think for a second these guys didn't have a meeting before this about mocking her. This is not spontaneous. They're actually planning this. So they've pre-written rape jokes here. Sarah, Bill Simmons blows. He should stick to discussing Godfather movies and jerking off to Paul Pierce and Jason Tatum.
You're alone. I'm alone. I'm from Canarsie. I just moved here.
Larry Bird.
Like to be your pal. My name is Marty Getreyer, and can I talk to you?
Bless his heart.
Then he raped me. Oh, wait a second. I identified him by every detail. No. And then we became friends, and Marty is a terrific guy. Terrific. But of course, I never call him anymore because I'm much too important.
The only reason the two of you were together was because you had no one else.
No, nice guy. I liked him.
Be honest.
No.
You
In
had
fact,
no one else.
Wrong.
If you liked him, you'd still be in touch with him.
I don't like anyone that much.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
You drift.
Right.
You got him, Robin. That is the worst attempt at a rape joke. Even Fran, who laughs at everything, was like, I am not giving you I'm not giving you shit. I'm not going to giggle. I'm not going to. Even Fran just went blank on that.
Now, wait a second. Let's get back to your story. Never mind Marty. Do you think Marty's attractive?
I've never even met Marty.
Oh, okay.
He's friends with Rob Stern and my executive producer, and he's always telling Rob that, you guys were good buddies in high school. And Rob said, if you're doing Howard Stern, you got to ask him, because I don't know whether to believe him or whether he was a passing acquaintance.
Has Rob dumped Marty as a friend as well? Now that he is a success with your show? All right, now listen to me. Let me get this straight.
I know. Well, we are enjoying. Now we're.
No, I don't mean to. I hope you don't think I'm making a joke out of rape.
Well, there's not. It's not a joke. It's not a shanta. It's not
let's get to this,
that you have to
How many years ago did this
One out of 3 women get raped in
Let me
their
get back to this story. Hold it.
So he says, I hope you think I'm not making a joke out of rape. So when you say that, somehow it gives you now a pass to continue to speak about it and continue to mock it, which is exactly what he's doing.
Never mind all that. Never mind the speech. Never mind the speech.
Well, wait a minute. You put me on this.
She is well adjusted, but you get to that to the end of the story. I know how to tell a story.
But that's the happy ending to it. That you
I don't want a happy ending yet.
If you live, then you can start. As long as you have life, you can start.
How old were you when it happened?
And this isn't even new news. It's so funny you're bringing this up. I mean, this is.
It's new to me.
All right.
I have to know everything. What you were wearing, everything. How old?
I got to know everything, what you were wearing and everything. She's like, he's not going to change the subject. The interviews back then in those terrestrial years were not, they were long, they were more than most anybody had, but they were, because with commercials and stuff, they were probably at the least 20 minutes and at the most they could go as much as 45 minutes, and depending on what the commercials were, what he was trying to do. And what I saw, the full interview was 34 minutes. He spends 60% of the interview on this topic.
How old were you when this happened?
I would say I think I was probably it was probably like 8-9 years ago, so I was probably like 26.
26. So you're at home, you're mellowing out for the night, and is another friend over, or are you sharing an apartment with somebody?
Oh no, we're.
Yeah, Tam Fran's right. He wants to control the narrative by bullying her into talking more. Absolutely.
It's my girlfriend was over.
Yeah, like a friend.
Yeah, right.
Two of you were not lesbians together, though, right?
Oh, let me tell you a funny story. Wait a minute.
No.
No, wait.
No, I don't want the funny story. No, trust me.
Wait.
No tangents. No tangents.
You're missing out on a really good joke.
He won't let her off this topic. And it's not even, I don't even know if she's trying to hit the ejector seat but she just said, let me tell you a story. No. You got to tell me more about rape. Please, black guys, rape, please. I want every detail. And it's worse than I thought, because I just kind of skimmed through it. What is the deal with gaslighting, Melody? When did this word become so mainstream? It seems like an internet. I complain about this word all the time. It seems like it has 10 different meanings. Isn't it just lying? Isn't it just, what is the definition? I cannot go 10 minutes without hearing this gaslight word. I didn't hear it 10 years ago. It seems like it's only in the last half decade or so it's become mainstream. What exactly is the meaning? I can't be alone in this. I talk about, is it a psychology word? Is it I refuse to use it because it is such an internet word that I can't bring myself. And now at least I'm honest to admit, I think it has 100 different meanings, and I truly don't understand what it is.
Right on story.
How much you want to bet it's not a good story? Go ahead. Let me hear the story. Go ahead. Let me hear that story.
I'm talking to my mom on the phone, and she says to me, "So, how was your day? We saw you on..."
Melody says, Fran feels like he's joking, but then he goes and denies it. So the question or feeling is, can you just imagine what he puts Beth through? Beth is kind of, what does having 500 rooms and 3 different mansions with square footage, and as Alec Baldwin said, MacArthur Airport is your foyer. You don't have to be subjected to it, right? Could you imagine how fast that marriage would go if they were like in a whatchamacallit, Travis Bickle studio apartment? That marriage would last a week and a half.
A TV show, and then suddenly she starts talking to my father, and she says, "No, Marty, fast forward. I don't like 2 women together. That don't turn me on."
Oh my God, what were they watching?
Welcome, David. I hope everything's going well ear-wise. It's not fun. I am a hydrogen peroxide with a cotton ball kind of guy, and you hear that whenever I have, that's my ear maintenance pretty much. There was something where you sniff a fragrance. I forget what it is. It's some kind of oil that you boil it and you sniff the vapors and it clears your ears up. But David, I hope everything went swimmingly and you're back with us.
Maze and an emphatic stroke of Byzantine whimsy.
Because nobody deserves a full bill of health than David the violinist.
And the evil monolithic energy source that helped spawn him will give the Legion of Doom all the power we've ever dreamed of.
It's the power source, a monolith of evil.
Obviously, they were watching some kind of porno.
That's disgusting.
And she never even thought she's talking to her daughter on the phone.
So she's talking to me on the phone while they're watching this. I mean,
bad story.
Thank you, Benjamin. Now I got it. Thank you. Gaslighting is when the lights are used along with the streets and in homes before electricity came in. Thank you, Benjamin.
I think I'll call Fran.
Let's get back to it.
Okay.
I want to understand everything that happened. Do you mind?
Yeah, no.
Okay, as long as you can handle it.
No.
Oh God. So Howard used to do this thing. He still does it to some extent, but he would kind of dig in and he would go, all right, please. I got to understand this. I need to understand. So we tried to do this thing that he had some genuine concern for you or empathy or curiosity. And he would do this move where he go, all right, just please, you got to I'm going to soak you in. I got to understand this. And then somehow that would open them up to give him the salacious dirt he's going for in the most schadenfreude, all the wrong reasons kind of way.
No.
So, because this is good for other victims.
Okay, now he thinks he's concerned about victims of rape, which we all know the most dense among us could see through this off. Melody says, gaslighting is a type of psychological manipulation that involves someone intentionally causing another person to question what the reality and memory or judgment. Now, how does this happen so much in our lives that this is a word? Like, how did this start? When did it start? How did this word become popularized? What is this because of broads and murder mystery? Broads love these murder podcasts, and I guess is that it just got into this Why is it a thing? This can't happen so much in our lives that this became a word. Is just straight up lying the same thing? Someone lies to you and then you believe their lies. What's the difference? And just someone lying to you.
So, because this is good for other victims. I'm only asking this because it's good for other victims of crime.
Well, you know, especially when a celebrity can admit
That's right. Then people are ashamed.
David was born. David's 200 years old, as per Crazy Robin. It says, "Arm, I can explain gaslighting to you the next time I'm on." It's a reference to an old movie from 1944. So David was about 40 years old in 1944, called Gaslight, and that's why people can't explain it well either, and they don't know the roots of it. I believe you, David. You've never steered me wrong before, and I don't expect you to start now. Where is your drop? I need someone to explain the brilliance of David. Where is Mr. Rogers?
I'm 95. I'm not dead. Well, all the guys from my barbershop quartet are dead, so no.
Be the case, then I was saying that 1 out of 3 women it does happen to.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's a very
Those women
violent
don't
world.
know that there are other people like them who have reached your level.
Thank you, Melody. So you do agree with me on that. There's really only one definition, but everybody uses it now for everything, and it really pisses me off and frustrates. I like to add things to people's comments that I'm feeling. I'm like projecting through the comments, so I will put, maybe I'll add an F word or something else just for effect, and it's driving someone mad with fake illusions.
So many people.
Those guys should have had their penises chopped off and beheaded in public. What do you think of that? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree.
It's putting in a narrative that is fake and getting after one person to believe it. That's another way to frame it, Judy. It's exactly what Melody said. But my question is this happening so much that this word is used every 5 seconds? And there's not a talk show. There is not a news program. There is nothing. This word is used so much that, like Melody says, it has to be misused. It is a very specific word now. Its etymology is 1940. Yeah, that's what David just said. 1944 psychological thriller by the same name, plot, and meaning of the term is to trick someone into thinking they're insane. That sounds like Arkham Asylum. Sarah says it has been explained to. Doesn't it sound like an Arkham, like Professor Crane, the Scarecrow, would do that in Arkham Asylum?
I believe in capital punishment.
You're damn right you do, because here's a woman who knows. I bet you.
This guy was on parole. Thank you very much. How did the system let this guy out?
What was he on parole for? For rape?
I don't think for rape. Let's hope not. I think it was for armed robbery.
Yeah.
But even three strikes, you're out. Suppose you're the first 2 strikes.
Yeah, good luck. Okay, anyway, wait a second.
Thank you, Timmy the Cat. It's amazing how everyone loves that Jackie Cat reference with Timmy the Cat. That got that was a big reference back in the day. Jackie's cat, Timmy.
I did an excellent police sketch.
Sarah's not having it. She goes, this idiot, this moron, this lummox arm, it has been explained to him 100 times. Like everything else he doesn't listen to. God damn it, she is fucking intimidating.
I think it was for armed robbery.
Yeah.
But even three strikes, you're out. Suppose you're the first 2 strikes.
Yeah, good luck. Okay, anyway, wait a second. I want to get...
Howard cannot wait to get back to this still. He's like, no, back to Rape, back to black guys. I just noticed Tam Fran says is how Tam Fran and Fran is in her defensive position with her arms crossed with a disgusting look on her face. She's ready to go. Yeah, that's good, Tam Fran. I agree with that.
I did an excellent police sketch.
So in other words, you're the hero.
This guy.
Of course, Fran's always the hero.
The picture. Well, it's my story.
We're doing an episode on the Nanny of this.
It's my story.
Yeah, go ahead.
But this guy was.
Brendan goes, you should rename Lotus Notes to gaslighting. Yeah, Brendan, you kid, and I haven't looked it up and I can't prove this. I bet you there already is at least 2 podcasts with that name. I guarantee there's a podcast for everything that that fucking creatively bankrupt lift from my thread on Gunk. Quite frankly, there was already 5 podcasts with that name. Stephen A. Smith had a show on ESPN called Quite Frankly. And this fucking creatively bankrupt Canadian John Hine goes and steals that of all things in that thread with infinitely better names.
Did he look like OJ? Oh. Or was he darker? Was he darker than OJ? Yes or no?
No.
Darker, lighter than AC Cowlings?
Yeah.
Now he wants to know, he really needs to know the pigmentation of the rapaeus. And this is the line of questioning he often did back then. Are you black like Wesley Snipes? AC Cowlings? OJ? Melody goes, not to be too dissenting, but I find it disconcerting when people say the money Beth can adequately compensate for the abuse is certainly enduring. It's a fine line, Melody. I think she knows what she's signing up for in the beginning. But like I said, the square footage, she doesn't have to deal with it. She can throw money at the problem and get away from them. Like, you can't, I don't know what constitutes abuse with her. But again, she knows what she's signing. She's very difficult to feel sorry for. These, this gaggle of fame whores hanging around the bar and club scene in Manhattan at the Mercer Kitchen and the Tribeca Grand Hotel. They know Katie Lee Joel, and the list goes on and on and on. They know what they're doing. They know what they're getting themselves into.
I wouldn't, he would.
He was light-skinned.
Medium, I would say, but the skin is not.
No, I'm just asking.
Just asking for the description.
It helps my audience.
So
the thing is,
it helps my audience. Look at how giddy he is, asking about the pigmentation of her rape. This is so awful. This is way worse than, I did not listen to this all the way through because I wanted to surprise myself. I listened to bits and pieces. It's way worse than I thought. This is exactly what the Crazy Days and Nights gossip item is. There's not a question. It took the ferreting ability to put this together, and it didn't take much. Like, thank God I have this. We need to send this to everybody. Everybody who comes, all these feminazis that think he's safe haven, send it to Ali Wentworth and George Stephanopoulos. Send it to MSNBC, where you have Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow and Stephanie Rule, etc., and Joe Scarborough show, thinking that he is in their camp. He is not. This is the real guy. David is a vampire, says G Canada. He is 650 years old.
It was the eyes that were so weirdly
cold and steely.
Set.
Hey, Bon, are you there yet? Are you back yet? I'm getting really sick of myself. Unlike Howard.
Very far apart, and
back.
The way he held.
James Garfield was president when David was born. Back to Howard.
It was the eyes that were so weirdly
cold and steely.
Set very far apart, and
back.
The way he held his mouth and stuff like that. So this all.
I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. I love you.
So now he's fixating. He's still on the rape. I said this before when you were at. The whole interview is 35-ish minutes. This topic is 20 minutes out of the 35 minutes. And she can't wait to get off it. He can't stop circling back to it. He won't let her out of this topic. And couldn't mock him more. It's way worse than I thought. Tendril says gaslighting is completely misused all the time. To give an example, once my boyfriend accused me of having his wallet and purposely making him late to work. He convinced me it was true. He had it the whole time. Thank you, Tendrils, for your honesty.
Here or the Afro style?
It was pretty close.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
All right.
I can't remember.
That must have been some police sketch.
She was so detailed.
She's describing Sidney Poitier.
Well, it's not
hilarious. Yes, Bon, you just saw him giggling at a Sidney Poitier joke about her rape. Yes. He gave you the This is a guy, that is a sociopath who laughs like that.
Take my word for it. It looked just like him. And
like Sidney Poitier?
like the guy.
Oh, like the guy. Go ahead. All right.
And
Did you go?
Here, by the way, I have the police sketch. Here it is. I'm going to show it. Here.
According to Fran,
It's a stick figure. That's some.
Yes. That is a sketch of Fran Drescher's Rapeist. This is what he's doing. We're not going overboard. We're not misreading this. There's no comedy. There's nothing about this that's funny. This is utterly, I mean, really sexual harassment after mocking rape. That's another form of it, what he's doing here. And she's fake grinning at it all and being as good a sport as you can to promote her shit. And she wants to come off like she gets the show and she's going to go along with everything. But this is hideous.
Description. Go ahead.
Showing a picture of a stick figure.
All right, good. No.
And then they had a stakeout in the area that he was really,
But here's a guy who's released.
So he was working
One marked car spoke. Yeah, he was working the neighborhood. One unmarked car was on a walkie-talkie to the next one and the next one, and suddenly they see this car driving around
In the neighborhood.
With license plates from the neighborhood that my car that they stole was found in.
So they screwed up these guys.
So when they stopped him just before...
G Canada goes, that bitch-ass Phil midget hasn't been to Canada in decades. He's not ours anymore. He has to live somewhere. He's only smaller than everyone else, and not in a freakishly way, by the way, Tiny.
Before he got onto the freeway, he had a pocket full of jewelry, and his fly was unzipped. And some poor woman, there was just one more woman that had to be a victim before he was up.
Have I mentioned, Bon, to you ever just how much I have? What's your dog's name, Bon?
Odessa.
Like that. Very cool name. Cool name. Odessa's a great name.
I wish I could take credit for it.
But I'm not a lesbian.
Right, that call. Right? You ever hate men? This is when you hate them the most.
Apprehended.
Odessa is a cool ass name, Bond. That is almost as cool as Sarah's cartoon cat, Camilla, who we have not shown in a while.
Yes.
This is one cool cartoon cat.
I love that.
What a
the music
cute
that
cat.
goes with it.
That's Kathy Lee Gifford, by the way. That's her album. When Frank cheated on her, she wrote a song called Only My Pillow Knows. I think Dolly Parton performed it with her. And so it's about Frank cheating on her with Susan Johnson.
There's your...
gaslighting is the word of the year.
It peaked in 2022, and David was correct about the movie. I looked that up I did not know that it was from that movie, and it's I think it's fantastic word.
It got the top search on Merriam-Webster from people just going, "What is this?"
And I'm fascinated with Sarah almost attacking you just then, saying that's kind of gaslighting you. Honestly,
don't gaslight me. Don't stop.
She's trying to say that you always forget these things that you've been told them. You always.
If Sarah
and
it's
to make you question. You might go, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Hey, John and Sarah, it's Holly Robinson Pete. How you doing?
If Sarah were racist, she would say this.
Blacks, Jews, Hispanics, whatever.
Right? Just like that.
Yeah. And there's a podcast. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of podcasts with the word gaslighting in them. Yeah, you were right. There,
like in the title of it, right? The title of it.
There's one called The Gaslighting Project, a podcast, which has 127,000 subscribers. So, yep, people are loving it.
Oh,
I think it's absolutely fascinating. It's what Trump does. It's what, Trump's a master at it. He can say, no, I didn't say that. And if they play it back right there,
he's a con
he'll
man.
say, I did not recall it that way.
Even if you haven't recorded, even if
Even
it's a
you
fact,
just played it back to him, and he won't say anything else though about it. He'll just say, "I
This
don't
is
recall,"
what
and he'll
Howard
shake
does
his
too,
head.
Bon. They have so many similarities. That's what Howard does. You have it on tape. I don't know how many times on Gunk I've just found exactly the opposite of,
it's like,
and you just denied when you magical thinking, right? Darvo, whatever it is, deny.
It's like
Deny.
Epstein when
Yep.
Prince Andrew, the picture emerged of him with his arm around the girl, and he said, I don't recall ever being involved in that photograph.
Yep.
He's implying the photograph was faked. So it's everybody else's problem.
Yep.
And how can you prove it when people did studies on that photograph and said there's no manipulation on the photograph? And I think they said, without the negative, we can't prove it. They can't prove it. Again, you just it's just
what's that called? Metadata. Now that's the term for that. Metadata. Like when
I guess yeah. Oh well,
Learn that from
this
the
would
Depp
have been
trial.
digital. Yeah, you'd need the file. Like I was thinking back in the days of a roll of film without the original info on the digital. Yeah. So he's just it's just again implying they mess with your mind. It's fascinating, and thank you. That was classic David there pointing out that it's from that movie. I did not know that until I looked it up, and then I was like, wow.
And he's not pompous about it either. He just has it there.
Oh no, he's going to school you if he's going to school you. And he's kind of like a Terminator in that regard. But I love it that a word like that means something. It's got that origin as well. When you know that, and then you go, oh, they're using as a term. You go, wow, that's fascinating. Again, shout out to words, just in general. You know,
we love words on this show. We love words, and Val Armour loves to put them in our comments. I hope to hear from him soon, because David had quite a few in the last two podcasts. Howard's grilling her more than the police did. Yeah, it is. It's so fun. That's so true, Ben. That's so true. Hold on.
You know,
and this guy's living on the taxpayer's dole now. He's living in prison, probably having a party.
Did it ever occur to you? In another time, he would have been hung.
Right.
Did it ever occur to you not to testify? You wanted to?
Oh, no. Why wouldn't I want to testify?
Well, lots of people don't, Fran.
Oh, I felt bad for
Tam Fran, you're right, but there has been times where I think it was, again, back to Trump, Donald Trump Jr. surfaced the blackface clips, right? And he got them out in the zeitgeist, and he had enough of a following, and that's how, and Howard got shamed that he had to address it. So that's what it takes. It took Trump Jr. to out Howard's blackface, which he was trying to duck, and he had to address. I have that in my files too, when he was forced to address it.
Occur to you not to testify? You wanted to?
Oh, no. Why wouldn't I want to testify?
Well, lots of people don't, Fran.
Oh, I felt bad for everybody that
Based on your
didn't
description,
find them soon enough.
Based on your description, I have drawn a picture of what I think the rapist looked like, and here it is. Robin, what do you think?
Look at this. Look at this. So, if you're listening to this, Howard drew a picture of Gary Delabate and hold to the camera. Now he's saying that Fran's rapeist is Gary, and they're having a good old time with this. I mean, there's not a shred of gravitas or seriousness about this topic. He has been on this, again, 60-something% of the interview is just this.
Is that right? Is that close?
Who is that?
If look at how uncomfortable she is with the uncomfortable smile. She went
and what you played a minute ago with Robin asking her if she ever thought of not testifying. There's just something strange about asking someone that question.
Yes,
it's almost gaslighting. Like, did this really happen? I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's not that weird compared to the usual stuff they do, but the bad stuff. But it's still weird.
Stop gaslighting.
That's Gary, my producer.
Like I said, Fran, if she doesn't cackle because she's a good laugh, she will laugh at anything. You know she got offended there. If that's the most she's given him as, then she's dying inside.
No, whatever. Anyway, so that's the story. And then you're sitting at home, you and your friend, and then
yes, thank you, G Canada. I never did blackface. And this is actually the derivation of this drop that I use on here once in a while.
We're shock jocks. You use the N-word a lot.
That's the best.
I like when it fades out. She got him there. That was great.
I'll put a question to you. I'll put a question to you there, John, with that G Canada. If he says he never did blackface, but Howard was in a theatre play where he put on makeup in blackface, did he do blackface? There's the question.
Right.
See? What's the answer? What do you think?
Yes.
I did it, but I was in a theatre production.
Yeah, you could say, what's the context of it? He can't wait.
But I
really? He's a black guy. Hook me up with some coke, yeah?
I would say, no, you didn't do blackface. It's part of a theatre show. It's a fictional show. It's not you putting on blackface and going down the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
David.
Yeah, ibuprofen kicked in, and I was bored, so I'm here.
Is that a product placement? Is that an ibuprofen product placement? Vapocol severe menthol oral anesthetic max strength is what I have here. There's a Vicks brand and there's a Target brand. Oft-times the Target brand's better. What kind of pretentious asshole says oft instead of often?
I love say whatever you want. David, great work on David. You nailed it with gaslighting. I did not know that, and fascinating. To give us some info if you'd like.
So I'll find a video from the movie, but basically this man marries this woman and he's trying to drive her crazy by
black guy. So is he a black guy?
He was not. No, they are white.
I'm sorry. I'm just doing Howard. Sorry.
So one of the things he does is he somehow, I forget the movie, but he somehow rigs it or so that the gas lights in the home start to dim, but the wife thinks he's not home, but he's actually the one doing it. So she's hearing noises all over the house, and the gas lights are dimming seemingly by themselves, even though he's kind of behind it. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I can. I think John's gone. Keep going. I think Johnny's having a moment, but I'm hearing you continue.
This is for John. No, I'm kidding.
But no, it is. Well, we should wait, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Hold on.
But yeah,
I'm bringing up the trailer for Gaslight.
Yeah,
the movie, and
that'll explain everything. It's just they attributed that specific component of him trying to drive her crazy. And the thing is, like, when she confronts him with, I feel like the lights are dimming on their own, and there's I hear noises in the attic. He says to her, like, well, no, there's nothing like that going on. You're crazy. So that form of manipulation they've called gaslighting since the movie. So that is the explanation that John will never hear.
I know. I'm not playing the audio because it has this text, they tell the story.
Right.
So you wouldn't think they did. It's so cool that they were doing it even.
Yeah, it's funny just because there's so much, they incorporated so much text in trailers, like the exciting new event of 1944, like you have to read about it. So, John, I don't know if you heard any of my definition or the plot point of Gaslight.
Did you see me drop out there?
Yeah. Oh no, we stopped hearing your voice. That's all.
My internet hiccuped. So I just went out. It was
That's
weird.
rare.
I had not seen that yet in a while. Long time.
The universe is trying to keep you from learning the proper definition of gaslight.
David wanted to wait till you got back because he wanted to tell you it. It was very cute.
This is why Crazy Robin calls him 200 years old.
Right.
What man of David's millennial generation knows this, watches this? Angela, look at this. What's the copyright? Gaslight 1944. Steve Rogers was in World War II in 1944. I mean, Jesus Christ, David.
But it showed nothing about him. I'm sure he's running around changing the lights. I can't believe they didn't show a little bit of that in the trailer because that's going to be a fascinating part of the movie. I'm going to watch the whole movie.
Excuse me,
I'll watch it later because
it's a good movie. Yeah, in my opinion. But
we've got some comments here about David. There's people loving you. Is David really that old? Is that him on the avatar? Jose,
see,
nice one.
We are gaslighting the audience into thinking I'm really 200 years old. So we're doing it ourselves.
Anyone can fake it. You can. If they put you in a time machine and went on, if there was like a 21 Jump Street where they had like a time machine and you go undercover like 200 years ago, you could pull it off. You easily could.
I think on Gunk once I made like a Martini and Rossi on the Rocks reference, and someone was like, "You are not 35 years old."
Oh my
Fake
God!
it till you make it.
That's too old for your parents. That reference.
I know.
Yeah, you're naming stuff that's too old for your parents. Your parents wouldn't even know this movie.
They often don't. Yeah. So anyway, we can move on to the Howard.
This is good for other interesting.
That's why Mark Harris would love you.
Yeah.
Mark Harris and Martha Ray would love you. If you really you playing for him is the dream gig where he sings and you play piano.
I wish
I'm doing it
honestly.
Yep.
Asking this because it's good for other victims of crime.
Well, especially when a celebrity can admit to
that's right. Then people are
But
ashamed.
then if that be the case, then I was saying that 1 out of 3 women it does happen to.
Right,
But that's what I'm saying.
It's a very
Those women
violent
don't
world.
know that there are other people like them who have reached your
there are
level.
so many people.
Those guys should have had their penises chopped off and beheaded in public. What do you think of that?
agree.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree. I believe in capital
You're
punishment.
damn right you do. Because
he doesn't want the punishment. He just wants to see their penises. It's not about the punishment. It's just an opportunity to see male nudity.
I was on parole. This guy was on parole. Thank you very much. Had the system let this guy out.
What was he
Benjamin says, "Let's have a watch party for the movie Gaslight." That's so funny.
on parole for? For rape?
I don't think for rape. Let's hope not. That I think it was for armed robbery.
Yeah,
But even three strikes, you're out. Suppose you're the first 2 strikes.
Yeah, good luck.
But
Okay,
you know,
anyway,
when
wait a
they
second.
found
I want to
guy,
get...
because
Yeah.
I did an excellent police sketch.
So in
of
other
him.
words, you're the hero.
This guy.
Of course, Fran's always the hero.
The picture. Well, it's my story.
We're doing an episode on the nanny of this.
It's my
Yeah,
story.
go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just pause it for a sec. So the man in the movie is in the attic searching for jewelry. When he turns on the gas lamps in the attic, the lights go down the house. So he has to keep attenuating the lights in the house, I guess, during normal night to trick her into thinking the lights are generally down. When he's going to go up,
Yeah, because I think
he must have to
doesn't
run around and turn them back up, because when he turns them on up there, they'll go back down. I'm confused. Is anyone else?
I'm stuck on attenuating. I wouldn't get past that. I'm still thinking about you saying attenuating.
He should just wait till she goes out, and then he can just go up into the attic and look for whatever he needs.
But then we'd have no movie. So no, I'm kidding.
Oh well, that's now you're gaslighting me. Not
Right,
really,
exactly.
actually. That's just being logical. Don't forget, people. If someone's being logical, that's not gaslighting. If someone's arguing with you and they're making a point and it's correct, you can't just say you're gaslighting me by telling me the real truth.
The final dinner scene in Mrs. Doubtfire could have easily been avoided. Like, it did not need to happen that way, but there'd be no movie. You know.
But you will agree that
Obscure.
people use this.
Oh, I'm going to get a drop of you, buddy.
A 20-something broad with a vocal fry. In every single time you hear them, that they're within, they cannot go 5 minutes without saying this word with ever context, and they are misusing it and overusing it, and you will hear them go, "So seriously, don't gaslight me. He's so gaslighting me. Stop gaslighting me. Gaslight. Stop gaslighting me." And it's often, and they agree, we all agree, it is misused often, and everyone, they can't stop saying it.
Can I give a theory as to why?
Yes.
I think that they're using it as a way to say someone is checking them on them being a bad person. Like, you're not being a good girlfriend, you're not being a good friend, you're not being a good boyfriend or whatever. And rather than sort of concede like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that I was behaving this way.
Own up to it.
Own up to it. They get defensive and say like, no, you're trying to make me think that I'm misbehaving. You're trying to make me think that I'm acting crazy, you know? And so
stop gaslighting.
It's a way to not take accountability. In my opinion.
That's good. No, I think you nailed that, actually.
But this guy was...
Did he look like OJ?
Oh.
Or was he darker? Was he darker and back?
The way he held his mouth and stuff like that. So this all appeared
Kinky hair?
in the
Short kinky hair? Or the Afro style?
You know, it was...
So, David, I don't know if you caught... So now he's trying to stay on the black thing, and what pigmentation is it, and she's a good sport. She's trying to go along with this and knows it's nonsense.
And I noticed before Howard saying like, and you know, it's important to talk about this because, you know, women are right and stuff. You know, he's trying to use that as the real frame when in reality it's just to stay on this racism thing.
The last guy worried about imparting some kind of lesson or empathy, or you could learn something, or it could help someone, is him.
Yeah.
It is all about what he can indulge himself with in this. And she knows this. Fran's a smart broad. She knows this.
You know the way...
Go ahead. Sorry. You got it.
I was just going to say, you know, the way that you can tell that Howard is gay nowadays is because it's the only sort of marginalized group, or let's say in 2012, it's the only marginalized group of people that he would talk seriously about. Like when he defended Ellen, when she got fired as the spokesperson for JCPenney, and just, but he was still he was still talking to like Gary's sons about like, I was tortured by black kids at my high school. And why didn't my parents, you know, so that's how you can tell that he's probably gay, because it's the only marginalized group of people that he cares about, I think.
Yeah. He'll always initially was that we think Emily is lesbian, but the last motivation he has is to do anything regarding his kids, to white knight his kids. It's all about him. Initially the theory was, we think Emily's actually a lesbian and that's why he's doing this, but it's only always about him. Police sketches, it's all about him, Ed. Police sketches are a useless anachronism, says Brendan. Nice anachronism, Brendan. I've never heard him say that in real life, but he's writing it. There's no way a police sketch would ever help the apprehension of a guilty person. Remember that goddamn Unabomber? Yeah, you saw that everywhere, that Unabomber sketch. Right. Useless. Fran's gaslighting Howard.
Oh, God.
Because,
Go ahead.
I don't know.
All right.
I can't remember.
That must have been some police sketch.
She was so detailed.
She's describing.
David saw the pyramids being built when he was a little boy. It says Benjamin.
It says I wasn't building them.
Sidney Poitier.
Well, you know, it's not. I'll take my word for it. It looked just like him. And
like Sidney Poitier.
When you worked at Panera Bread for 2 weeks, the first thing you said is, "I think there used to be pyramids here in the where this is."
I think the Apache tribe used to. Yeah.
Like the guy.
Oh, like the guy. Go ahead. All right.
And
did you go?
Here, by the way, I have the police sketch. Here it is. I'm going to show it here.
According to Fran,
it's a stick figure. That's some.
Jackie obviously drew that, and you see.
That's some description. Go ahead.
Showing a picture of a stick.
Testify you wanted to.
Oh, no. Why wouldn't I want to testify?
Well, lots of people don't, Fran.
Oh, I felt bad for everybody that,
based on your description,
find them soon enough.
Based on your description, I have drawn a picture of what I think the rapist looked like, and here it is. Robin, what do you think?
Sketch joke number 2. And we going on, this is 60% of the interview, and she's still not laughing, and she is dying inside.
Is that right?
Gary.
Is that close?
Who is that?
That's Gary, my producer.
Sarah has just gifted 5 memberships to the chat.
Whatever. Anyway, so that's the story.
Gary.
And then you're sitting at home, you and your friend, and then all of a sudden this guy like bursts through the door.
Yeah.
What's that, David?
Jackie and Fred didn't even pity laugh at that sketch. Like the crickets. My God.
Crickets, and he tried it twice. So he went back to the well too. It's that bad. He can't get off it. There's nothing about this. This is utterly hideous, and he wants her to run out of there crying.
Yeah.
And she
burst through the door.
Right.
They break it open.
The dog
That's
was
brazen.
barking.
What kind of neighborhood do you have?
dog was
Dogs barking.
I thought you sell croutons. I thought you had some money. All right, listen. The guy bursts through the door, and then he does his rudeness. He ties you up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he ties your friend up?
Right.
Oh.
And
you figured you were dead.
Yeah.
I would figure I was. You know what?
You would have
I'd make in my pants.
You would die.
Did you make in your pants? I would have made in my pants.
I peed in my pants.
You did.
Actually.
Really?
I would.
Oh.
I would have been so scared I'd pee in my pants.
Yeah.
I think you'd do a lot worse.
I'd vomit and go number two also.
You vomit because you're bulimic.
Yeah.
I would vomit, pee, and number two all at the same time.
You would too.
Right.
I mean, and you know what the interesting thing is?
Any excuse to make shitting references or vomiting references, no matter what. Any excuse, all he's got. It's all he knows.
Right.
Go ahead, David. You about to say something?
No, I was thinking, you know, the fact that we watched what's her face from Smallville last
Erica
time.
Durant.
Erica Durant. And he's hounding her about a story that's about consensual nudity, and she runs out crying.
Yes.
And here he is making Fran recount her sexual assault.
Unconsensual. And that was a fake story. And they were told for Erica Durant to go with that. They made up a story for her.
Right. I mean, that's part of it too, is that she has it's a fake story, and she still cried going out of the room. Yeah.
Which compromises all integrity that was ever left from the show. And that's even 18 years ago. And they're lying back then. God knows what they do now.
And at some point, Robin, like, I love Robin is along with the jokes until, you know, Fran says something super serious, and Robin is like, oh, like she's trying to curry favor as if she's a sympathetic or empathetic person at all.
She's a sociopath too, and she claims to have been robbed too, which I don't even believe that happened.
It's about people that have guns in the house. Usually they keep them like next to the bed or something, and this totally wouldn't have helped us
you at all.
We were in the kitchen. Unless you carry a gun on your body.
Right.
Wow, that's an interesting statement about, you know, gun owners and how it's, like I said, you want to stop all of it, put an FBI windbreaker on. Everything goes away. All your problems will go away. If she slept in an FBI windbreaker.
Like they do in the movies, you're never going to be prepared for it because you're
armed at all times.
You're not going to turn into John Wick when shit goes down. She's
I don't contribute to gun violence, and I don't contribute to the prison system.
Who is that guy? Oh, God.
John disagrees with John.
Yeah, that's
Sims in your home. I am serious. I am a big believer in that.
Until you shoot your foot off.
Sleep with it.
I know.
Sleep with it and kill on command. I am telling you, we are under siege.
I'm trying to think of the timeline with the Grillo thing and the parking garage.
Yeah.
I think it's after this. Yeah, I think it's after this.
Okay.
So for all we know, we would have you thinking that Howard's carrying, and I don't have it completely substantiated, that Howard's concealed and carrying a gun on his holster, on his cankles.
Wow.
Right.
That's what they say. I don't see him like preparedly or having the moxie to do that on a day-to-day basis, because he has a crazy team of SEAL tech security with him that go with him fucking everywhere. I don't see it. He wants you to think. It's just enough to have you think someone's carrying. Right? That's enough.
Yeah, and I think he's lazy enough that he would have given SEAL Team Sex the speech of like that he gave to Stuttering John. It's like, you should know, like, you should just know what needs to happen for me to always be protected. Like, I don't want to have to tell you. I don't want to have to be involved in the meetings on how you're going to protect me. Just do it, you know?
And the last guy that would turn into what Fran just described, John Wick or Frank Castle, is him. He has absolutely no agility. He has no reflexes. He's rigor mortis. He can't bend down. He can't bend his wrists. There's not a shot in hell he could get to his gun in any situation.
Keep a gun in your buttocks if you have nowhere to put it.
Shoot first.
Shoot first.
Well, it's amazing with all the people.
Do you now keep a gun in the house based on this?
No, we don't believe in that.
You don't think it would have helped you anyway, so what the hell's the difference?
No, it wouldn't have helped me.
Well, yeah,
I know it wouldn't have helped me, and then it might have been used against me. No, you really can't live life that way, considering there are so many people.
I agree with every word she just said. That's completely logical and almost prophetic and way too logical. She's like, I even if we had, I can't wield this thing. Probably what would really happen is would be used against me. I'm not. What would happen? That's just so many people think that they would, turn into fucking Tomb Raider. When shit goes down, it's just not going to happen.
Out there, it's amazing that we all get along as well as we do, because there's always going to be.
Listen, I don't buy that.
There's always going to be.
We don't even get along in this room. I'm talking about this little crew here.
No. This is a perfect example of utopia.
That's right. Now listen to me, Fran. Yeah, you've been living in LA too long. So everything turned out all right because you prevailed.
Right. And that's
the point.
The thing.
And you weren't a victim in the sense
Pick
because...
up the pieces.
Right.
Here we go. We've got a problem
Go on
here.
with your life. Right.
Tamara,
Move on.
what's wrong, Tamara? I think I'm too black to be here because I want to say more, but say whatever you want, sweetheart.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
So how long before that beautiful body was being used again? Probably for years you wouldn't even use it.
Oh no! You gotta get right back,
in the saddle?
into action.
No
actually.
kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you're.
Oh,
And your
that's
husband
why.
was supportive. He didn't have.
No, he left her.
Lots of times husbands are traumatized by this too.
Oh, I would be. Especially two big black guys. You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, I'm not adequate.
Oh, you're just
listen. That's it. Listen, I can tell you firsthand that that's a
myth.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But that's a ridiculous thing to say. Is as if your wife enjoyed the rape.
No, not enjoyed, but you know
No,
what I'm
he's saying he would make it about him, of course.
Of course,
Like
it's always
most
about
men.
me.
Then it would be his problem.
It's
I
my
can't
problem.
cope with it. It's like
not
this
Fran's problem, it's my problem.
But what did he
Right.
say? He'd be inadequate in the face of two black men.
Right.
If his wife had been raped.
Now you notice, Fran, that whole Cosmo Richard streaking thing. There were no black women anywhere in sight. Even if there were two, if there were three, he never would do it. They'd never go. They're not having that on any level. They would never go. They would do exactly what Fran's describing. I would kick him in the fucking balls, as one should, right, David?
Black men.
Right.
If his wife had been raped by that.
Now, Fran, the point is, look how you prevailed. You are a network television star. What is your show like? It's always in the top 10 or something.
We were actually no, but we were.
Now he's pretending to care about her ratings.
Yeah, right.
Condescending.
Yeah, that's a great way to
That's
reel
a
it
harsh
in.
turn from rape to ratings.
Oh, that's what we were talking about before, David. Like, I can't understand the way he turns from contrarian to attacking. It's the personalities. He's so much. He's whacked out.
He's trying to get the guests punch drunk. Like if you watch his interview with Julia Roberts, he and Robin were trying to play tag team with like complimenting her, but then like criticizing her marriage to Lyle Lovett, and then complimenting her again, and they're trying to get her punch drunk.
That's a good reference to bring up. That's a good show for us to do.
Yeah,
yes, and he did it with Dana Plato. It's compliments and it's putting her down. Compliments. It must mess with someone's head if you're a guest.
Right. I would love to do that Julia Roberts interview. That would be a lot of fun.
It sounds like you know it backward and forward.
I kind of do. It starts with that whole, Robin got her on the show.
Charity thing, yeah.
Bought a dress at an auction. Yeah.
Did you know that she dated Pat Menachia?
I remember you told me that. That's crazy.
That comes up like before, and I did not know that. And Pat Menachia is Howard's trainer and butt buddy from, he's an ex. He played minor league hockey and somewhere in Ivy League, and he was there's pictures of him jogging with Howard in Central Park the last time Howard was in public 20 years ago, and he's just hideous with the goblin schmata on, and Sarah's wants to wrap. We're going off soon. Sarah.
21 like last week. That's excellent out of 100, and that's reruns in the summer. We got promoted to Monday nights now.
He goes right to Howard wants to know about the money. And it's right to just turn it around on him, Fran. Ask him what a syndication deal was in '94. What did he get from the book? What did he get from Private Parts? What did he get from Miss America? What did he get from the pay-per-view specials? Turn it around on him. Watch him shut down.
8 o'clock. This
Monday
Monday
night.
12, my sister's birthday.
Hold on a second. Monday night at 8 o'clock, this coming Monday, I will see the Nanny.
Now,
why did they switch the time period?
It's a big promotion. You know, now we have a new network president, Peter Tortorisi.
Does he know anything?
He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's doing one
Tortorisi.
hell of a job.
Tortorisi sounds like a pig Latin name. You know what I mean?
Like the guy you were thanking this morning.
Yeah, right.
Italiano.
Italiano.
And he put us on Mondays and Wednesdays all summer, and we built a tremendous following. Because, you know, Wednesdays is a time.
You're on Monday and Wednesday?
All summer. We've been on Mondays and Wednesdays. In fact, tonight.
I was seeing an awful lot
well,
of you.
today's Thursday.
Yeah, I know, they're overexposing her.
Sarah says, show announcement as of now. No super tip AI chats here. I'm starting to find them annoying on other shows as a listener to other shows. You don't watch other shows, Sarah? What? And I don't want that happening here. Maybe later. Yes, everyone, like and subscribe and donate if you don't know, if you can, however you do. There's a QR code on the top right. Okay, everyone. I got to move
Sarah's
on.
really
Thank you,
getting
Judy.
angry now. You pissed
always
Sarah off.
I know. Not difficult to do.
No, we were building, and now we're going to be on Mondays.
So
which
Peter
is a big
Tortorisi made
CBS
this decision.
Right.
Yeah, Peter Tortorisi, he'll have
You
that
do,
job
Judy.
2 months. You'll see. He'll be a new guy.
How long did the last guy
don't get too attached. You know, I don't believe I've ever gotten a good look at your
Yeah,
husband.
you know, I'm doing a book with Judith Regan.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Do you think there's any shot? So Judith Regan is her publisher.
Oh, wow.
Do you think there's any shot in hell that he didn't know that?
Oh, I mean, this is when he was writing Miss America, I'm sure. So although Judith wasn't involved in that book, but
Miss America's right around this time. You don't think he knew that they were working at? He absolutely knew. Oh, I didn't.
When he's writing it, he's done the deal. He'd know. He'd have a list of every book that's coming out over the next couple of years to time his with when there's an empty area. So he must have known.
Rooting for her book to fail because it's not his, and he wants it to be Judith's favorite. He's rooting for her book to fail. I mean, it's always that. There's always something going on with him and the Schadenfreude. It underlies everything.
He's also looking for like a lonely iceberg in Judith's calendar to release his book so he doesn't have to compete with anybody.
Yeah, a lonely iceberg. You're
So
beautiful.
poetic.
John. Oh my god.
I got you, lonely iceberg. And I'm jerking off to ice now and icebergs and you guys have heard, I played the clip a few times on the old gunk that Judith Regan probably cheated with Howard in his basement. She told the story on the news where she was poking his dick with a pencil while they were down there, while Allison was upstairs. Like, there's nothing about that that's playful. She felt the green light, and she told this story, and so it suggests that shit went on with them.
Wasn't she wasn't she like dropping ice cubes in his ass crack too, or something?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
She's that one.
Shit.
She's like a walking Sex in the City character in a way. She's almost like a cross between like Kim Cattrall and Cynthia Nixon. But was Carrie Bradshaw was based on Candace Bushnell. She was a publisher as well. So she's almost like all of those characters rolled into one. I guarantee I have no knowledge other than just projecting that she is a massive fan of Sex in the City.
Oh yeah, that's very accurate.
Conjecture.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tam Fran. Giving because I hate Howard, but I love my boys. We love you too, Tam Fran. Thank you so much.
I do know where to buy the AAA Hermes.
Now I'm going to get in trouble for that, John. Remember?
No, that was a great job because that's like Sex in the City. That's the crowd she runs with.
What do you mean? What are you writing a book about?
I'm writing a humorous tale of my experiences in show business.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
You're very lucky. Well, I'm sure she'll have lots of time to edit.
So the next time we do this, which could be next, maybe we'll start she talks about the trauma from this interview in the book.
Wow. Oh, great. Have we got the
Judith Regan
books?
as the publisher.
Your book.
I'm going to get the book.
Yeah, I'm sure she won't be too busy. Good luck. No,
Try
of
to
course.
get her on the phone.
She is wonderful.
She is wonderful, actually.
And don't put that rape story in there. There's no laughs in that.
No, this isn't about that.
Rape
That's
is not.
You know, when I'm on the downslide of my career, I'll do the tell-all.
Right. That's when you save that.
Save it for then.
That's right. Rape does not equal
She's very
chuckles.
calculating. That's what I
Right.
like.
Hey, let me see your shoes. What are you wearing for shoes?
I'm wearing.
Oh yes, it does. Oh yes, it does equal chuckles the whole
For
time.
Howard,
We spent
yeah.
20 minutes on that, guys. This is exactly what the Crazy Days and Nights story is talking about. So I got it. Full stop. This is it.
Imagine how many times he said rape if we counted them. Oh,
Should we go back and count it?
I would. I
That
can.
mess with the algorithm.
Yeah, right.
I'd say
Maybe
over
the
30.
advertise-
Over 30. Oh, yeah. I would have edited them out if I'd known it was so much in this. I would have demanded
How
the
do you
video
not?
because it's
Also-
like just hearing the word. Go, David.
Also, Fran kept her promise to Howard. She did not include the Rape story, but she included the story of having to tell the Rape story at gunpoint. So
Yes, even more.
she kept her promise. Yeah.
Even more. All right, everyone. I want to thank everyone in our chat for doing anyone who donated as well. Obviously, I love you all. David, the great cameo at the end. You're really good at these last.
Coming in at the clincher. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's almost like the surprise. Like in a show when the guy, oh my God, I didn't know Wolverine was going to show up. You know, at
Bette
the end.
Midler makes a cameo at the end of the
See, Bette Midler, David. God bless everyone. Next time, what are we doing? Hopefully at Deppening this weekend. Hopefully we'll do a Jump Street season 3, episode 1, Fun with Animals, and the debut of Richard Grieco. Please like and subscribe and all that stuff. Thank you, Philly29. For your stealthy donations. You are beyond generous. Thank you, Boff, who I just got this very long email from, and we got so many things. I owe him. You got to hold me to this. A Jason and Will show on this show because he's been asking for it on Gunk for years. And it is
John.
about time. Venmo, PayPal, Super Chats. Thank you, Sarah. PayPal,
John, I should
Venmo,
tell you, I converted all the episodes of The Office and I uploaded them, so we can do something on Patreon, a watch through of The
American
Office.
one or the British one?
The British one. It's only 12 episodes.
You're not going to like this, and this is not. We're not getting into this now. But I saw an article the other day that Ricky Gervais was called a big bully. Now he was somebody. Yeah.
They've come for him many times.
Yeah.
He just says,
But
he
it
just
wasn't
shrugs it. He just
being
says, you're not going to
politically
stop
correct.
me.
It was being a bully. It wasn't. It was like just being a dick on set, being a bully. It wasn't politically correct.
I love him, but if he was being a bully, I will admit that he was. Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not saying he wouldn't. And I love Gervais too, and I hope it's not true. But I mean, God knows, who knows?
But I would love to do Patreon because we can get through those episodes real quick. Because they're only like 22 minutes long, so we could do like 3 in a row. There's only 12 plus a couple of other Christmas episodes. So I just want to see your reaction to it because it just makes you go, "Oh my, David, you've seen a lot of the UK
I've seen the
Office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. You know that it's going to shock John. I think John will be absolutely
very
shocked.
uncomfortable.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
David was at the witness to the Christ insurrection, insurrection. I'm so much
Christ insurrection.
Insurrection. Yeah, MAGA resurrection.
They cut down the cross
with the Proud Boys and Jesus
someone
Christ.
Someone also left a comment last show about us, the way we say, "Oh, you go now." Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, we do that because we're polite. So if David and I start talking at the same time, we'll both stop and go, "You go," and then we'll go, "Oh, you go." It's not like we both just steamroll and keep talking until one of us stops, to create complete chaos.
I think I wrote that. I think I wrote exactly that. We love each other and we respect each other's turn at bat, and we're being polite to colleagues that we respect. That's
like the
that's how real life.
steamrolling.
Exactly.
That happens on other podcasts where they just won't stop, both talking over each other at the same time for about 20 seconds. That's on other shows.
John Lorello, this is a great get by you. I saw this. I know what you're talking about. There is a Playboy model named Carrie Stevens who swears she had an affair with Howard right in the Beth timeline. And I read her account of it, and it sounds legitimate. You wouldn't make this shit up. And yes, I will totally go over that. And I will go. I know exactly. It's at the Playboy Mansion, right, Lorello? And I will find exactly when that is. In fact, I think I have the video of it. Yeah, and she might be on that. And I saw that too, and that's a great catch by you. And we should go over that. We definitely should. Maybe next time. I don't want to forget it. So maybe we should do it very soon. What's the matter, Bon?
Just.
Oh, he has the
picture of Howard with her, with his bouffant hair. Oh my God. Just wait till you hear it comes. Here we go. Look, this picture, this hair. Ay, caramba. Maybe that's an impersonator. I don't know if that's Howard.
That's not him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looked close.
Chest
I'm sorry.
is too hairy and its nose is too small.
It's Rick Moranis.
It's Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
I got so excited then. Oh, damn it. I'm trying to. I'll see if I can find it. But she's.
I definitely have the video, Lorello. I definitely have it. The Playboy Mansion. I know exactly what you're talking about. Anyway, I want to thank everyone. David, again, what a great cameo at the last minute. Thank God. You sound great. Bon, brilliant as usual. The drops are just unreal, inhuman. You're so effing good at that. This is a fun show. That wasn't a fun show. I mean, it is and it isn't. You know, I think please, let's bring attention to this. Drop these clips everywhere you can to bring attention to mocking a rapist. Will he get canceled? I don't know. When you're a partner, you usually don't. Who cares? Let's just bring attention to it anyway. I don't care who you have to send. Send it to Trump Jr. again, for Christ's sake. Bring it.
Little West End town, dead on the road. East End road, West End.
Love that so much.
You are the dream I never knew I had.
You got slapped the yarmulke.
I did.